worked with many schmoes over the years. They're my sidekicks and friends, so I adore them. All the schmoes of the world unite. Joker's here, and he's glad he is.
From the Schmoes Know Network Studios in Los Angeles, California, it is time for the Schmoes Know Movie Show. Tonight, Avengers Age of Ultron Spoiler Review. From Comedy Central's web series Nothing to Report, Nick Mundy, and the best in the world at what he does, Chris Jericho. And now, here are your hosts, Kristian Harloff, Chris Stuckmann, and joining us soon, Kelen Coleman.
Hello, Schmoville. It is a very, very special episode of the Schmoes Know Movie Show. I'm Kristian Harloff. Mark Ellis is not here, and he is not in the middle of nowhere. He's actually in Minneapolis, and he is at the Acme Comedy Theater, Acme Comedy Club, excuse me, the only club that I've actually ever been thrown out of during my stand-up comedy run. And joining me in his stead is a buddy of ours, been a buddy of ours for a very long time now. When we started out on YouTube, he was starting out on YouTube. We watched each other's channels grow. He's a good friend. Chris Stuckmann is here. What's up, Chris?
How you guys doing? I'm excited. I almost didn't make it. It took me about an hour and a half to get here, actually. 12 miles. There's a Mad Max Fury Road premiere going on right now. Do it. That I got caught in some kind of parade.
You were thinking about going, weren't you?
Well, no. If I had seen Charlie's like right there, then it would have been over. But
turn the car around, and that's the end of it. And that probably would go for Kelen Coleman, who is supposed to be here right now, and she's probably caught up in the traffic as well. And if you don't know who Kelen Coleman is, when she gets here, she's an actress, and she was on during Phase 3. She was on our show, and she played the Celebrity Depression dating game, and then we were going to wait to tell her this, but if you guys have been watching during Phase 5, you know this. Makuga talked about how he, like, usually Makuga's like a ladies' man. Mm-hmm. In front of her, he just shut down. Like he he said like she was like the one that got away, and like and he just, we watched him at like Buffalo Wild Wings one night, and he couldn't handle it, and so I told him tonight, I said, because he has a thing he's doing, I go, you're not going to be at the show tonight? He's like, why? I go, I got a good co-host. He goes, Stuckmann? I go, well, yeah, Stuckmann, but Kelen Coleman, and he writes back, you fucking dick. And so we're gonna reveal tonight to Kelen Coleman some stuff. Now the other thing I wanted to let everybody know before, because here's how the show's gonna work tonight. It's a really cool show. Chris is here obviously to talk about the Avengers spoiler. That'll be at around like 6:30. We're going to get into the spoiler talk. We'll talk news for a bit. And then 7 o'clock, if you guys are familiar with the show again, Upham's Corner, we'll do a little bit of that. He's got a lot of good topics that we're going to get into. And then 7:30, Chris Jericho, a wrestler that I actually worked with when I was a writer.
Really?
Yeah, I want to see if he's not going to remember me at all, but there was, I'll tell the story, but I pitched this bit, and he shot it down. And I thought it was going to be like the career bit, and I'm going to bring it up. But he's here. Yeah, we'll see what he says. But he's here to promote his show, Nothing to Report, which is Comedy Central web series. Looking forward to that. But something kind of cool that Mark and I can finally tell the fans now, if you guys know Screen Junkies and Movie Fights, their network that they're with is Defy Media. And Mark and I were with Full Screen for a very long time, and I can say nothing but great things for Full Screen. Had a really nice run with them, but as of today, we are now going to be with the Defy network. So we're very excited about that, and I said that we'll be working a lot with Screen Junkies and Movie Fights. So just wanted to tell everybody that. The other thing is the Pit Boss is here, and he's here with the news. He's been working his balls off on it. Can't wait to see what he's come up with tonight. JT, hit the man's music.
I'm Ken Apsock, and these are your Schmoes Know headlines, brought to you by schmoesknow.com, your source for movie news, reviews, and clues. Our top story tonight, Star Wars. Wait, sorry, that was last week's script. Marvel Studios has Nope, sorry, I think we covered that last week. A new picture from the Okay, I'm sensing a pattern here. Oh, wait, here's a new one, kind of. Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy told Vanity Fair this week that there will be a 5th Indiana Jones movie, and it is in development now. No word on whether or not this film would be the much-debated idea of a rebooted Indiana Jones, or if it would involve Harrison Ford, currently 72 years of age and not amused with anything I'm about to say. A script is far from being written, but Kennedy said it will, quote, one day be made inside this company. Meanwhile, I now have to rush to finish my spec script called Indiana Jones and the Wheelchair of Mobility, in which Indy goes on an adventure around his retirement community trying to find where he left his reading glasses. I have a commitment from the kid who was short round stunt double. John Wick was a 2014 sleeper hit for Keanu Reeves and Lionsgate, so in this tentpole franchise world, it makes some sense that the studio has announced plans to move forward on a sequel, with directors David Leitch and Chad Stahelski back along with screenwriter Derek Kolstad. No timetable for production and release, and it could be a while as the directing team has some projects in front of Wick 2, but they appear to have a good handle on how to make the sequel, saying it all has to do with creating a character people love, and if you have great action but a character no one likes, you're not going to watch it, which is exactly how every one of my relationships has ended. The first John Wick made $80 million at the box office. MGM's remake of The Magnificent Seven is shaping up to be an all-star cast of actors ready to ruin your grandfather's favorite Western. Jason Momoa and Byung-Hun Lee are in negotiations to join the cast, which already features Denzel Washington, Chris Pratt, Ethan Hawke, Vincent D'Onofrio, Wagner Moura, and Haley Bennett, who plays a woman that hires a group of gunslingers, spoiler, probably 7 of them, to protect her town from rampaging bandits. Momoa is reportedly set to play one of the bandits, which is great casting because he's already stolen your girlfriend's heart. Antoine Fuqua's directing, and production starts later this month. Okay, you've waited patiently, ate all your vegetables. It's time for Marvel, DC, and Star Wars news. Captain America Civil War added 2 actors to this cast this week, or actually like 5 new cast members, or well, like a lot, like an entire, it's like Avengers 2.0. They added a lot to the movie. First, Martin Freeman, no longer busy walking around in circles on Middle-earth. It was announced by Marvel is joining the movie in an undisclosed role, a role that our friend Del Maimbe says is Everett Ross, a U.S. government agent assigned to Wakanda, and that his character will return in the Black Panther film scheduled for 2018. Though, to be honest, Marvel could probably announce that Freeman was playing a homeless man that thinks his cardboard shield is made of vibranium and spinning him off into a movie called Cardboard Pete, The Age of Urine. And Captain America Civil War would still make millions upon millions at the box office.
Cardboard Pete.
Emily Van Camp will be returning as Agent 13, of course believed to be Sharon Carter, and now Paul Rudd will be in the movie as Ant-Man, and William Hurt is joining the cast as General Thunderbolt Ross, a role he played in The Incredible Hulk, because yes, children, there was a time Marvel didn't do it right. Captain America Civil War is set for a May 2016 release. A lot of Star Wars news this week, so here's the quick roundup. Josh Trank is out as the director of the second Star Wars anthology film. Party line is that it was his choice, but juicy gossip rumor mills say it was a massive problem behind the scenes of Fantastic Four that caused Simon Kinberg to tell Lucasfilm and Disney to drop Trank into the Sarlacc pit of career suicide. Then Vanity Fair released some pictures from the upcoming May 12th edition of their magazine, which will include the now traditional Annie Leibovitz Star Wars photo shoot pictures. The pictures and a special behind-the-scenes video don't just show you some great shots of new and old characters, but give you just enough of a roadmap to figure out the plot of Episode 7, ruining the great links you're going to not be spoiled on even the smallest of levels. If you miss seeing the photos from Vanity Fair, don't worry. Your friends made sure you can't miss it by tweeting and posting the pictures until you stood up, went outside, and punched a mailbox. And then on Monday, May the 4th, also known as Star Wars Day by adults who still aren't quite sure what social skills are, The Wrap revealed that quite possibly now the second Star Wars anthology film, now Trankless, will in fact be a Boba Fett origin story. This has not been confirmed by anyone actually making the movie. Also, this is about the 5th time we've had this Boba Fett origin movie confirmed by everyone but Lucasfilm and Boba Fett himself. And lastly, rumors have surfaced that embattled Avengers director and former Twitter participant Joss Whedon could be in the running to direct Star Wars Episode 9. Militant feminists are already angry at him for it. And finally, the first official picture of the Suicide Squad cast was released this week, and everyone hated it. Except, of course, for all the people that secretly loved it, but felt they had to go on the internet and make mean comments about the picture before they crawled into bed, stared at the ceiling, and muttered, "Why does it hurt?" until they cried themselves to sleep while masturbating to pictures of Harley Quinn they drew during their lunch break earlier in the day. Thanks, Internet. This is why we can't have nice things. I'm Ken Absalog, and those were your Schmoes No Headlines, brought to you by schmoesno.com.
Rocking the news. Nice job, Kenny. Hey, don't go anywhere before you take those headphones off, because one of the things is that, Stuckmann was here at Star Wars Celebration with us us. We get to hang out for a bit too. But I talked to Chris yesterday, and we were talking a little bit about you when you were running around. Kenny, you got our guest is here?
You getting our co-host.
Our co-host. There she is.
Everybody.
Kelen, come sit over here.
You guys? I dressed up just for you.
Well, good. Have a seat.
Listen, Jim's had to be visited.
Jim's had to be worked on.
Had to be visited.
And this is why we brought her in, because she comes in like a hurricane. It's Kelen Coleman. How are you, Kelen? Nice to see you finally.
Good to see you guys.
It's been a long time since Phase 3 is the last time. You were on the show twice, yes? Before?
Was I?
I thought so. I know you played the Celebrity Impression dating game.
I did.
You did that one time, and then you
Who
came.
Who won that?
Who did win when you were here? I don't remember. It's a good one.
McCooks?
No, he hasn't won. He only won those first two.
Where is he, speaking of?
Where is McSee? She asked for McCougar right away. That's good.
Because someone tweeted that he better get his game in order, which I don't know what that means.
You will. Trust me, you will tonight. Yeah, there's some stuff we're going to talk about with McCougar and Kelen Coleman in a little bit. But Kelen, before we get into, I have something I want to talk with Stuckmann and Ken here. But real quick, just to let the fans know here, what have you been up to since we've seen you? I haven't seen you in a bit. It's
since
like 2
I've
years.
Seen you?
It's been like 2 years.
Has it really?
Yeah. What are you doing now?
Geez, I'm on a show called The McCarthys on CBS. Find out today or tomorrow whether
Which
or not.
Mark Hamill loves, by the way.
Who
was
does?
on the show. Mark Hamill. You know Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill was on your show?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Mark Hamill, you talked to him about me?
Yeah, I saw your tweet.
Oh, yes.
But I saw him tweet also, and then he was on first, and then
okay,
your tweet came
he
out.
tweeted he loves the McCarthys, Luke Skywalker.
Isn't that
I mean,
great?
come on,
yeah,
that's so great. Right after May the 4th be with you.
Right, see, she fits in well.
He loves it. Yeah.
See, Alicia and Tiffany might
I was
watch
at Disney
out.
for it,
guys. I think they might have to come back. Kellen's going to replace Tiffany.
Alicia who? Yeah. Tiffany what? No, but so I've been doing my show, and we find out if it's coming back for second season or not.
Awesome.
What have I done? I did
you shoot that in New
Scandal.
York?
No, we shoot it here.
You do shoot it here, okay.
Yeah, I did Scandal season premiere this year as a guest star on that. I did Hot in Cleveland, guest star on that.
All right.
I did 3 movies that are coming.
Wow.
One's in the LA Film Fest. Not
what do you
sure
got?
the other two.
What's coming up?
I don't know when any of them are coming out, but one is in the LA Film Fest called Flock of Dudes. It's with a bunch of funny people.
Dudes?
And, bunch of dudes.
Yeah.
Hannah Simone's in it too, though, from New Girl. Chris D'Elia, Skylar Astin from Pitch Perfect.
Chris D'Elia's a friend of the show?
Brian Greenberg, Eric Andre. What's his name? Ray Liotta has a little bit.
Oh wow! See, so check out Kelen Coleman. By the way, and for Schmoville, make sure you can follow her at Kelen Coleman. Yeah, and she's pretty good with the fans too.
Sure, I love fans. And I'll tweet you.
The tweet.
I'll favorite you and I'll like you.
And she's here tonight to talk about the Avengers with us. You know, Chris Jericho is going to come in a little later.
Cool.
And Nick Mundy. So we're going to we'll talk to them about Comedy Central. But we're just talking with Chris Stuckmann and Ken. Now, Ken at Star Wars Celebration was walking around. You can see this on my Instagram. It's amazing.
You were at the Star Wars Celebration?
Oh, for 4 days. It was amazing.
Oh,
yeah, it was great.
See, I have no one to go with to those things.
Could have gotten me a pass.
Man, my brother's going to be...
See?
He wants to go to E something?
E3.
Yeah. He wants to go.
We'll probably get passes for that too.
Oh my God, I'll go. I'll go with you.
Okay, you should.
Done.
So we were there, and Ken would literally, when he showed up, looked like a 12-year-old in the best way possible. Had a backpack on. I had this picture of him looking as he's shopping. So, Chris, I know that you had kind of a little special thing.
So basically, we were walking around, and it was your birthday.
Yeah.
And I think it was about 10 a.m. and you were drinking.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
That's what you do.
Okay,
that's what you do.
That's every morning. That was yesterday, too.
So
I didn't have whiskey till afternoon. It was rum.
Right.
It was rum for breakfast.
Nevertheless, you were looking everywhere for something called Mighty Mugs.
Yeah.
You love these Mighty Mugs.
Love them.
You collect them. You like them in box because you're an adult male.
Yeah.
And
alone, don't. Yeah.
I collect these kind of things too. And you looked everywhere for an Imperial Guard, I believe.
Emperor's
Royal Guard.
Did you find it?
You couldn't find it anywhere.
Couldn't find it.
And I honestly felt terrible for you.
You did.
And so I bought you one.
How did you
One of you
find
interns,
it?
go run up and get that for me.
Come here, intern. Kellen doesn't know the new interns.
No.
This is up.
Well, we just met.
Oh, look at that. Beautiful.
Saving Private Ryan?
I do.
Yeah, he pulled it up.
Okay.
Look at that. So look at Ken. So excited.
That.
Is that a good friend or what?
That's great. I'm gonna open mouth kiss you after the show.
I'm looking forward to it.
See that,
Yeah.
please.
There you go. So there's a nice gift there. Now I want to put
Happy birthday, buddy.
I was going to talk about the news real quick, but I think all right, I'll talk about the news.
Talk a little bit about it.
All right, I'll talk about the news. First thing I want to talk about here, even though Ken went through a lot of stories that we're going to get to, one thing he didn't mention was, so Tom Hardy recently had an interview, and someone asked him if he would want to play the Punisher. And he was like, hell yeah, dad want to play the Punisher. He thought he was too small for the role, but I think you can drop a couple inches if Tom Hardy wants to play the Punisher. I think it's perfect casting, especially if they go to Netflix the way they did for Daredevil. Kellen, first thing, did you watch any of Daredevil?
I did.
You did? What did you think of it?
I'm still experimenting with it. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Right? Doesn't he look like the Punisher?
Wait, so you just...
That's the fan art. That's
oh, wow.
Art. Yeah.
I'm still experimenting with Daredevil. Okay. So meaning I haven't gotten fully fanned out on it.
You're not invested yet.
I'm not invested yet. I don't know why. And
have you gotten to episode 2 yet?
I have.
So you've seen the finale of episode 2?
The finale is unbelievable.
Because that's what hooked me.
But it's like that movie, Please Help Me.
I just like
Old Boy?
Martial arts movie.
The Raid?
Oh, no.
Yes,
yeah, The Raid. Too. Yeah, that's
it's kind of like an homage to that, right?
No, it's more to Old Boy, I would say.
Okay. I haven't
the
seen
hallway
Old Boy.
fight scene?
Yes, but I think there's a lot. But I think the show for me, I don't know how far along you know?
I'm only like 3 episodes in.
Once you get farther in, it reminds me of elements. It's like Batman meets Dexter meets Sopranos meets The Wire meets Breaking Bad. It's got every element of all those great shows. And so to see the Punisher go that way and to have Tom Hardy playing the Punisher, I mean, who wouldn't want that?
It would be incredible.
Does it involve him wearing a mask of any sort?
Not this time. No.
If they went the Netflix route, that'd be perfect, because one of the things that made Daredevil so good is they were able to take so much time on the origin and not just have it like, well, we have 2 hours to tell this story. Right. They had 13 hours to tell this story, and Wilson Fisk's story, and they made all those characters so fleshed out. And if they can do that with the Punisher, and if they can get Tom Hardy, I mean, of course I'd want Tom Hardy. I didn't think Thomas Jane did a bad job.
No, especially not in that short. Was it Dirty Laundry? Dirty Laundry was better than the movie.
He was fine. I mean, it wasn't really him that was wrong with that movie, and I actually never saw Warzone with Ray Stevenson.
It was good. It just, and I don't even necessarily say good. I think that it was, for Lexi Alexander, who's been on the show, actually directed it, and I thought that she nailed the violence element. I thought Ray Stevenson was pretty good as the Punisher, but there was just something missing. Did you ever see that one?
No.
Yeah, it was something missing to it, but I think that the way that Marvel's developing shows now,
they're killing it.
So to do
good.
it there, I'd be excited to see that. How do you feel about Tom Hardy in general? You think he's
a great actor?
Yeah.
He's really good.
He's got to be one of the top guys out there.
And he's not horrible to look at. So it gives you something for the ladies as well.
Right. Well, speaking about the ladies, we can talk about this today. Here's a question, because I was talking about this with JTE before, our engineer, who's now graduated. He's now not Joshy intern. He's Joshy engineer.
Yeah.
I saw him. Hi, buddy.
Nice.
Good job.
So the question I had for you is now, are you excited for Magic Mike 2?
Yeah.
Yes.
I will say I did not love the first movie because it felt like 2 different types of movies. It felt like that fun, you're at a bachelor party and damn, look at that body roll that Mr. Oh my God, Tatum. Yeah. He's doing.
Right.
I'd like to be the ground he's humping, sort of thing. But and then it was like this Soderbergh, I don't know. It just didn't. It was 2 different movies,
really?
And I felt like they either needed to go way harder towards the fun aspect or way harder towards the grunge of what they're doing and get into it. But I do want to see it.
It does seem to me like like the Avengers for the ladies. Like, this is the movie.
Well, I love all of that.
But you'll go see it if someone says, "Hey, let's
go." Oh, totally.
Right,
yeah.
Right. And now,
I'm going to see it.
What's it going up against that weekend, JT? Do you remember? I remember we said there was Magic Mike. What's Riley? Look that up. Do you know what?
Yeah, I know.
What is it?
Terminator.
Oh, Riley. So it's Terminator versus Magic Mike.
Yeah. When is that coming out?
JT, what's going on with the mics? It sounds like I'm in a cave. Magic Mike versus Terminator. I think Terminator is going to destroy it.
Probably.
Right? Mm-hmm. What'd you think of the first Magic Mike?
I actually really liked it, surprisingly.
Because
it's Soderbergh, but I've talked to more men who like that movie than women, strangely. Almost every woman that I've seen who had seen it just really wanted to see Channing Tatum and his abs, and and then there's a lot more to it. There's like the drug aspect of it. There's showing
but you
how
felt
that lifestyle
they gave enough of that?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you felt they gave enough of that, though?
Enough of abs?
Of the grunge aspect and the behind the scenes and the drugs and the...
Yeah.
You did feel that?
Yeah.
Okay, see, it's funny because on YouTube right now, by the way, if you didn't know this already, hashtag #SchmoesKnow. You can go to Facebook. There's the group Schmoville if you want to go chat there, but also the YouTube live chat. Now, the Film Effect says Soderbergh isn't returning and there's no Matthew McConaughey, so it's going to suck. It won't have any depth whatsoever. Now, it's funny because the trailer came out today for this one, and I would have been on the same boat as you, dude, but John Schnapp, who I was talking to today on Movie Talk, Soderbergh is actually the director of photography. He is editing it. He was on set for every aspect. So the director is going to be talking to him every day, and so Soderbergh is absolutely going to be heavily involved with this project. Definitely. That's why I'm more excited about it, because the trailer didn't necessarily do it for me, but the movie itself, I think, has more prospect because of that. I agree with you that missing McConaughey hurts it, and Jada Pinkett Smith's kind of taken his role, and that's not the best. Not the same role, but just that type of role. But the good news also, Alan Horn, who runs Disney now, his daughter was the love interest in the first one.
That's who that was?
She's not good. I
have no comment.
Yeah, you can't, but I'll tell you.
She's very pretty.
I'll say it for you. She was terrible. And she's not in it, and I think people realize that.
Is that the Kristen Stewart lookalike?
No, she's not Kristen Stewart like she's got.
There's a girl in Magic Mike who really reminds me of Kristen Stewart.
So there you go. That's as far as Magic Mike goes. I just wanted to bring that up. Now the other thing for you guys out there, this helped last week tremendously. You guys have been helping the show every week. Just if you're watching, there's about 1,300 of you watching right now. Just click like. Just click that little like button.
Click it.
Click the like button. It helps out a lot. Make sure that you do that right now. It takes 2 seconds. The other thing that I wanted to bring up here was this Civil War thing. So they are Ken joked about it, and he's right. Did you hear today about Civil War? They announced a lot of the cast who's going to be in it.
No, is this what is this? Isn't the miniseries that they're doing? My friends
no, Civil War. It's the Marvel Civil War. That it's essentially Captain America 3.
Oh,
but it's got Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, and now they announced because Paul Rudd for Ant-Man, and he's going to be in it too. Chadwick Boseman, William Hurt.
Anthony Mackie.
I mean, it's stacked, and it honestly sounds like a better version right now to me. Yeah, it's missing Thor and the Hulk, and although you do have that tie-in, and Ken, I know it's a joke, but I actually really liked The Incredible Hulk. Did you not like that movie, or was it was for the bit?
Yeah.
With Eric Bana?
You know, I just watched it. I just watched it about 2 weeks ago.
If I've seen a movie?
Yeah, I know. You haven't seen it. What was the last movie you saw? The Avengers.
In theater, Avengers. Other than that, Help last night with the Beatles.
Okay. Oh,
cool.
What are you doing over there? You checking your porn sites? What are you doing?
You know, I also produce this show.
Well, you're producing it on air right now. What are you doing?
I'm checking some comments and seeing what's going on.
That's good. Thank you. I appreciate it. Sorry, Chris. So
no, it's okay.
We have this ball bag. We have this.
That's a Harloff word.
It is. He's using
Ball Bag City.
Ball Bag City. Now, this cast, for what I like so far, because the Russo brothers are doing this one too. Now, they directed Winter Soldier. Joss Whedon not coming back for the Avengers sequels down the line here, and this is essentially the one that's going to set up the Russo brothers universe. I know Winter Soldier kind of did it, but this is like, oh, now these are the guys in charge now. How do you feel about what Civil War is looking like right now and the announce of all this cast today?
See, I really loved Winter Soldier, and I liked it just a little bit. I liked it more than Ultron, and so I'm actually more excited for the Civil War movie than I was for Ultron, which is saying a lot because the first Captain America movie I thought was fine. It was a fine movie. It set the hero up well, but I wasn't like, yes, I can't wait for Winter Soldier, and that was a movie that changed everything for me in regards to taking Marvel movies more seriously. So I am extremely excited for Civil War, and what you were asking me about Incredible Hulk, I don't hate that movie. It was loads better than Hulk, Ang Lee's Hulk in 2003. It at least understood the problem with that movie. It was way too super serious. But my issues with all the Hulk movies until the Avengers was that him changing into the Hulk, he always viewed it as a failure. Like, I changed into the Hulk, now everything's horrible. So you couldn't have fun with it. The Avengers was the first ever movie where he accepted who he was, and he changes into the Hulk and he punches that giant ship, and you can have fun all of a sudden with him being the Hulk. It's no longer depressing, and I think they nailed that now, and they're going on the right path with it.
How did you feel about the Winter Soldier? Did you want to see that one?
I did. Okay. I think I also agree. I like that better than Ultron.
Yeah, I did too.
I just saw Ultron, and I don't know. Maybe it's just me, and maybe it's because I brought food into the movie theater, and I was a little distracted in the beginning. But I was very confused
with Ultron.
I was a little confused by a lot of things instead of being very confused about a few things. I don't know why. There were just things that with the story that kind of confused me and got me sidetracked.
We're going to get into that in just a second here too, because I do want to know.
I did love Winter Soldier though.
Winter Soldier, what it felt like the Bourne movies almost. It had that kind of spy feel, and almost like 3 Days of Condor, 3 Days of the Condor, and you felt all of the you felt that grit, and you did, but there was character development, and it set up stakes. I think that's what Civil War is going to do. Because it has to be. Because Tony Stark and Captain America have to go head to head in this movie, and you have to believe it, and you also have to believe why these other characters are going to choose a side.
Right.
So the addition of Martin Freeman in there as well too. I believe he's going to play a senator or something. And then you have, I think that from what they set up in the first Iron Man, William Hurt's going to be on Downey's side, which will be cool.
Likely, yeah.
Yeah. So, and because of the military background and everything too,
it also gives the Incredible Hulk film a little more legitimacy instead of just that after credit scene where Tony Stark comes in.
Yes, you're 100% right. So that's, and there's a lot more to talk about Civil War. We're going to get to that, and because I just want to cover the news a little bit more before we get into the Avengers spoiler talk here, because thoughts very quickly on John Wick 2. I love that this is happening. I think that the first one was like one of those little hidden gems. It would not have worked if those directors did not come back because even if you would have gotten somebody else and then brought Keanu Reeves in there, not the same effect. These guys know it. They know where the direction of it. Kellen, have you seen the first one?
I have not.
You haven't. It's like such a fun,
because it was during
action.
the Oscar, all those movies, and I was trying to catch up.
Oh, okay. So you were like, I can pass off on that one. Dude, it's old school
I heard it's
action.
really good.
You loved it, right?
You
loved
it.
I heard it's great.
It was fantastic.
It's just a lot of fun.
It was, and one of the things the director said, I read an interview, they talked about making the second one. They said they have so many more ideas they can do. They're like, there's so many more things we want to do with the camera. There's so many more things we want to do with John Wick as a character. And I was just like, okay, cool. They don't just want to make the same movie again. They want to take it in a different direction. And one of the things that I think a lot of people agreed with about the first one was that it kind of had like this expanded universe feel. Like there was this underground criminal element going on, and it was like you could see all of these things just coming off of that could make a great sequel.
Yeah, I want to see him spend time in that hotel.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I really want to see you spending time in that hotel.
The Red Circle.
Yeah, you guys out there in YouTube, on Twitter, do you want to see John Wick 2? Are you excited for it? Because it didn't do tremendous numbers. I think more people will wind up seeing the second one because of the word of the first one. I wonder how it did on Blu-ray. Lastly, Star Wars. We're going to talk a little Star Wars with Kellen here. So we're talking about the fact that Josh Trank left, and I actually talked about this on AMC Jedi Council today, but so I want to talk to Riley and Stuckmann and Kellen here about Josh Trank.
Wait, your name is Stuckmann?
Stuckmann.
Thanks.
Okay, Stuckmann. No, I swear I thought he said Stuckmann. I was like, that's a dope name.
Could be a good porn name.
Stuckmann. Oh, it would.
It would be an
that's his alter ego now.
Taken.
I've heard that many times throughout elementary school and middle school, so thank you for bringing me back.
I always hear Helen Keller, so if that helps. Because I say Kellen, like Helen with a K.
All right, Helen Keller. So let's get into Star Wars here. Now, Josh Trank, do you know this whole debacle, what's going on with Trank?
No.
Okay, so Josh Trank, director of Chronicle, and now just finished up Fantastic Four, was slated to do the Star Wars spin-off film / anthology film that comes out in 2018. Mm-hmm. He was supposed to show up at Star Wars Celebration. He didn't show up. They said he was sick. Mm-hmm. This past Friday, they announced that he was leaving the project. Now, what he said was he was leaving it to pursue other options and more creative. He loved working with Disney, but it's not going to work out. And then Disney very shortly said, okay, congratulations to Trank, good luck in your future endeavors. And they looked like they parted ways nice. And then all the Vanity Fair pictures came out, and that story kind of got buried a little bit. I call bullshit. I think he was canned. I think because there was a lot of rumors of how the set was on Fantastic Four. I think that all this stuff. But I'm just curious. Yeah, a lot of times as an actress, a lot of times when you're on a set and there's got to be people that you work with, and you don't have to call them out, who are disasters, like who are just not nice people, but it doesn't always get out. And so, and you might be sitting around sometime and hear, oh, that person must be so awesome. You're like, no, that person's an asshole.
That happens more with the talent, I would say. But yeah, there's been directors who have just keep on working. I've been very lucky, so like most of them have been great. But I remember one director who I obviously won't say took the longest ever. He happened to be nice, but he was a horrible director. Yeah. Just person on the show or movie, whatever it was. Could not stand working with this person. It was just waste of time, and it was all technical. It was nothing for the actor.
He wasn't an actor's director at all.
No. Okay. And this person keeps working and working and working.
Yeah. See, this.
What was the rumor on him?
The situation with Trank was more like he was. These are rumors now. Some people say that he might have a substance abuse problem. We don't know. Some people say that when he was at. I know there was original rumors that he had caused all this damage in a hotel room, and then it came out in the Hollywood Reporter that it was actually his dogs that cost $100,000 worth of
How is
damage.
that possible?
I don't know.
It's not.
But so
the dog has to eat the TV and throw it off a balcony for $100,000.
Yeah, I have dogs. I have 2 dogs and a cat, and they've never caused that much damage.
Mine eats my floor, and it's
shit
not.
on everything.
Yeah,
literally chew everything in the house. $100,000. Yeah, they have to chew up like a car or something. So anyway, it was all that. It was the fact that he would show up late, and there were a lot of rumors that he was like that. I think it was again the Hollywood Reporter who said it was like that great sports talent, right? That you knew was just spectacular on the court, but off the court just couldn't hold it together, and ultimately hurt the on-court performance. And I think that's what happened with him, and why Disney was just like, nah, we're good. But I guess my other question to both you guys is, and I know by the way, Chris Stuckmann, myself, and Mark have a video series coming out.
Yep.
Cool.
On Chris's channel and on our channel, it's going to be the top 10 directors that we want to see direct a Star Wars movie. Ooh. Without giving away all of our list, why don't you pick one director out of that list, and who would you like to see take over for Trank?
I'll pick one of the ones that's like higher up. One of the ones we had talked about that we both agreed would be really cool is Matt Reeves.
Oh yeah,
because
Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, it was your favorite movie of the year. I thought it was a great movie. I liked Let Me In, and I really like Cloverfield. I mean, some people don't. I really liked it. He directed that movie. J.J. Abrams produced it. A lot of people always just think J.J. Abrams directed that movie. Anyway, I think what he could bring to a Star Wars movie, one of the things we talked about in the video, was his focus on character and his focus on science fiction, and of course his cinematography is gorgeous. And I would love to see what he could bring to let's just say it was Boba Fett.
Right.
Can you imagine a similar scene to like how Dawn of the Planet of the Apes opens with all the apes just in the forest hunting, and just imagine him except Boba Fett, and the kind of suspense and the tension that he could bring to that. I mean, it's just I think he could really knock it out of the park.
And you're right, because of the connection with J.J. Abrams too. He's probably got it in.
Yeah.
The great I don't know how Annihilation of the World 7 says the dogs ate his Star Wars contract. That's a great comment.
Good one.
Kelen, do you have someone directors that your favorites that you'd like to see do a Star Wars spin-off films? Who's some of your favorites out there?
It would take me like.
Think about it.
Think about it,
and I'll come back to you. How about that?
Oh man, it's never gonna work. I'm like the worst at name your 5 top songs, and I'll be like, come back to me in a week.
What are some of your favorite films that have come out over the last couple of years? And then we'll talk about who directed them. We'll see.
Action, it has to be action, though, right?
Okay, no, not necessarily. I mean, shit. Look at Gareth. I mean, I guess Gareth Edwards, who did Monster, then did Godzilla, and now is doing the spin-off. But I mean,
George Lucas had never directed anything except like THX 1138, and that was American Graffiti.
Right.
But those are not action movies.
Right,
yeah,
right.
Not at all.
I mean, yeah, and the people that have been rumored. I mean, for me, I talked about this today on Jedi Council. The one guy that I think will probably get the nod is Jon Favreau. I think Jon Favreau.
I would love that.
Yeah, I think Favreau to me makes the most sense.
I just saw Chef.
It's
so good, right?
I love
Chef. It's such a good movie.
Yeah.
I love him. That kid was amazing.
He was.
Everyone, and John Leguizamo. Come on, I love Jon Favreau. I love him as an actor. I love him as a director. He writes too. Yeah, he wrote Chef, right?
Sure.
Love him. That's a great. Okay. I'll just take yours.
You take mine. Okay, fine. Ken, you got one before we switch over to the Ultron spoilers here?
Yeah, I talked about it on Jedi Alliance on Monday, and you and I kind of have a similar. It's not going to happen. Yeah. It's impossible, pretty much. I would love Steven Spielberg to get one shot at a Star Wars movie.
Yeah,
it'd be perfect. An anthology film, keep him out of the main story. Not that he couldn't do it, but just have his own little take on it. He was supposed to do Jedi, didn't get that shot because of Lucas's battles with the Union.
Right.
It'd be interesting. It's not going to happen.
You'll like our video.
Yeah, you will. There's a lot of.
I liked it anyway.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of good. There's a lot of good names in here, and I will say this: that with the names that you guys are throwing out here on Twitter and on YouTube, you're going to see a lot of those names in our list. That's all I'll say. Okay. It is Ultron talk. It is the Avengers now. It just came out last week. we've been sitting on it for a while. Obviously, our reviews, I think, is your spoiler review up yet?
Yep.
Your spoiler review's up as well. Okay,
You got it.
We have our spoiler reviews on both our channels. And if you don't know already, if you go check out Chris Stuckmann's YouTube channel, youtube.com/Chris Stuckmann, 2 N's. Check that out.
Thank you.
I'm going to go like it today.
Hell yeah.
Well, thanks so much.
We're going to talk about everything with the Avengers here. And you guys, too, you'll be able to call in 424-253-0504. Tweet in right now and make sure, like I said before, please hit that like button so we can get more people watching in the room right now to be part of the conversation. Let's start tweeting out. Hashtag Schmoes Know what you want to know about the Avengers, what you want us to talk about. For me, I'll start it off, and I will say this about the Avengers, and I'll say it again. When I watched it the first time, I was a little underwhelmed. I saw it again with Cody up, and we went and we saw the premiere, and I was kind of and I was like, it was, speaking of Jon Favreau, we sat in like the same row as him and James Gunn. It was like one of those
James is a good friend of mine.
James Gunn?
James is a really good friend of mine. A bunch of my friends went, I guess.
Why didn't you say him for Star Wars?
Oh, duh!
James
What the
Gunn,
heck?
Star Wars,
James,
perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah, I wonder if James would do that. But how?
I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's a whole other topic, which I'd love to talk about because I watched and I went, "Holy crap! My friend directed that."
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like he's the best guy. He's incredible.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
But a lot of my friends went to the premiere. And keep going.
Well, it was great. It was a lot of fun. And when I watched it the second time, I even said to Upham afterwards, I go, look, I think I enjoyed that a lot more the second time because I watched it more as a popcorn superhero film, and I took myself out of worrying about too much of the plot and worrying about how much everything didn't. There's a lot of stuff that didn't make sense.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, what stuff to you didn't make sense?
Oh Lord! I mean, just first of all, the first thing that comes to mind, even though this was like the bajillionth thing that I was confused about, which hopefully that's a real number. Thor going and having it like he's
going
gone and he goes and has a vision.
Right.
Yeah.
He's in like the hot springs.
By far the most unnecessary part of that movie.
And he comes back and he knows the answer. It's like what? I mean, I was also wondering many of these things, that I was confused about. I was wondering if it's a lot of Marvel knowledge that I didn't know from like backstory. Like I didn't know who the twins were before I saw it because I know a lot of stuff, but usually my brother helps me a lot if I see a movie with him. He'll fill in the blanks like, oh, this is that person, you know. And I just felt like for an audience member who's coming to see the movie and has watched all of, the Marvel movies up to this point, I was a little lost with the progression, the timeline, and kind of what they were doing. And okay, so they're trying to make what they were making, and then they're like, this is another being, and they were making.
It's a good point though for someone who's not like, because we're in this
because it's for everybody. It should be.
You're right, because look, for what we do in the space that we're in, we're paying attention to all this stuff, and we're pretty big fans of the comic book movies. So to us, I knew what was happening with the Vision. I knew this stuff, but it's a great point as far as someone who's just going to see the movie could get lost. Do you see that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, if I took my mom loved the first Avengers. If I took her to see this one, she would be asking me questions all the way home, and and that's how I know, because my mom is the test that I do, where I'm like, okay, can I recommend this to like everyone? Or if my mom's like, well, what about that one part, and then what about that thing with the thing? And then I'm like, okay, I should probably say this is more of a thinker piece, and she would be asking a lot of questions about it, for sure. And I had the same questions when I saw it, and with Ultron in the beginning, it was so rushed. It was just like, well, we're going to put a suit of armor on the world, and then he's a bad guy, and all of a sudden he has a body, and he's like, I'm evil, and I have a towel on my head, and then he's like stands up, he's like, I'm not a man, I'm a robot, and he's Ultron. Right. Okay. Well, now we have a villain.
Well, speaking of moms, Riley, you saw it with your mom. Your mom saw it also?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I don't know what's going on with these mics here, but when maybe you JT turn your mic on so I know what's going on over here. How come my mic sounds like I'm in Thor's cave when this is happening? That a girl.
Thor's Hot Springs
Whenever I
vacation.
turn Riley's mic on, it like gives you an echo for some reason.
Okay.
Like Riley, switch headphones maybe.
Yeah, Riley, try to switch on. All right. So then Ken, you've also seen the movie. So now you're not I mean, although you hang out Matt Key and being on this show too, you're kind of in the know with the comic book movies. But how did you feel overall about the movie? And did you get lost here and there in story elements at all?
I got bored at story elements.
Okay.
Excuse me, but I didn't have a problem with the movie, which is snarky a-hole that I am. You would expect me to.
You had fun.
I didn't want to say it. I had fun.
Okay.
I'll say this: I'm not surprised to hear that Joss Whedon is now kind of going, thanks, Marvel. I'm going to work on some other things.
Right.
I'm going to leave Twitter. It just seemed like this was Marvel's movie. They are all Marvel's movies, as Edgar Wright will tell you.
Yeah.
And you either work with the system well, like James Gunn, Guardians of the Galaxy, way better, way more entertaining.
Or the Russo brothers.
Funny. I loved Winter Soldier 2. I just felt this one, there was a battle that you could see was going on, that there was stuff that had to be there, needed to be there. It starts to become paint by number storytelling, on top of already predictable storytelling in the superhero world.
Right.
Good guys, bad guys, they fight, one wins.
All right. Yeah.
So I didn't dislike it. It was entertaining.
No, I liked it. Yeah, I
James
liked it too.
Spader, I thought was great.
Strings. Yeah, it was. He was
very good,
very intimidating. He was very intimidating.
I mean, he's incredible.
I liked the stuttering. I liked the what word? What I'm forgetting.
Well, he was a version. That's what I liked about Ultron. I know some people had problems with Ultron because he wasn't that villain that they pitched in the trailer.
Right. He wasn't the Joker.
No, he wasn't. When you look at him, because they picture in every trailer you see, he's this menacing kind of Darth Vader like villain, and he's an extension of Tony Stark. He really is. And I liked that.
Yeah.
I really did enjoy that because I thought that made him different the most. I still don't think he's the best villain. I still think that whole Loki, Winter Soldier, and then Ultron, in my opinion. But I did like what they did with Ultron and the way James Spader knocked those. Like when he's up in the ship going to get away, and the Hulk grabs him and he goes, "Oh, for God's sakes!" Great line.
Yeah, there's tons of great stuff. Were you expecting me to take this moment to tell you my evil plan?
And just punches him right in the nose.
I mean, there's great lines like that throughout that whole movie, and that's one of the things that I really liked about Ultron is that Whedon still had that humor. Like, I mean, if you don't like the line where Vision goes, "Well, I was born yesterday," I mean, that's just perfect comedy writing, and it's those types of things that that Whedon thinks of that most writers don't. Like when Tony Stark is feeling along the wall and he's like, "Please be a secret door, please be a secret door."
I like that.
Yay!
Right.
You know, it's just that's the kind of stuff that you're not going to get in a normal superhero movie.
Yeah, some flavor to it.
Whedon really understands those characters in the comics. Now, some comics fans will argue that he doesn't, and I don't like the way he did that. And you know,
so was that the Monopoly Man?
Yes, that was the Monopoly Man.
And you must be the Monopoly Man.
But I will say that some of those lines,
you must be the Monopoly guy.
As much as I liked those one-liners, there were some that were very predictable. Like I heard them in my head before they came out, and that bothers me.
I think you're right, though. I mean, that seems to be one of the problems. The positive and the negative of that is there are some funny jokes out there that do work, like that one you said with Downey with the yay, that thing. But then there's sometimes where it's everything is a joke, and it's too much sometimes, and it's just like Whedon being, oh, here's another joke, and it's like pull back a little bit.
I can feel you on that.
You know what I mean? Because I think a lot of the worry was that it was going to be too dark and not enough humor, but it turned out to be the opposite of that. But Riley, sorry to get back to you. So you saw it with your mom, and your mom, she understood every bit, right?
My mother understood zero.
Give me a little impression of a conversation between you and your mom.
Who was the robot that everybody was fighting? It was Ultron. I don't understand that. It was in the title, Mom. I don't know who Ultron is.
I did understand more than that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
So anyway, so she was a bit confused, but you overall, you really enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Lord, in my ear.
I don't know what's going on with
He's turning into a robot.
Come sit over here.
Okay,
come sit by me, Marcus.
Yeah. Anyway,
sit next to me.
I love Joss's work, though. I do.
You do like all of his stuff?
Yeah, and the aspect of like how he adds. I think James did this seamlessly too. They add the comedy element. That's why these movies are becoming so great to me. It's because it's not just big action movies,
right.
which I love anyway.
Spaced it out. And,
true.
Yeah.
Spaced it out more and less predictable.
Yes.
But I love that these big, superhero movies are becoming tongue-in-cheek, and it adds makes the people more human, even though they're superheroes.
And it adds for the experience of the casual viewer, I think, too. So let's here's some tweets from Schmobel to get us kind of on some more spoiler topics here. At Jose_LFC writes, did Ultron really die? I thought he got transported into another dimension like the Red Skull. The way I took it, Vision blew his ass up.
Yeah, I think he's dead.
Yeah. I hope he's dead.
I agree.
I mean, I know that because in the comics he sticks around for a long time. That's not to say he can't get implanted somewhere else and come back. But how did you feel about Ultron, and do you think that he's toast?
I thought that he was, and I thought that also was it the Vision? That's what his name was.
Yeah.
Paul Bettany.
Yeah.
I love Paul Bettany.
Yeah.
He's perfect.
I thought he had to kill himself too to kill I don't know why I thought that.
He used an Infinity Stone.
Yeah, the Infinity Stone is...
Zap him.
Plus, he's in the room at the end when
I saw it later, and then I realized,
Okay.
And he's in Civil War now. So we've had confirmation.
And he's like the most powerful being in the movie. So.
I mean, I would think Ultron's dead, but at the same time, it's a movie, so...
Right.
And it's a comic book movie.
They can always...
never know.
You never know.
I think it would be
Especially
one of
with
those
Ultron.
things like where they see how much people like him. Mm-hmm. And if they really like him, maybe they'll find a place where he hid on the IMDb message boards on the internet, and then they find him and they resurrect him.
He quit Joss Whedon. He's Twitter.
Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna talk about that in a second too. Because as much as whatever you want to say about Whedon, he did not deserve what he got on Twitter. But we'll talk.
I don't know about that, so you can inform me.
We'll talk to you about that in a little bit. So, and it'll lead into some of the stuff, the development of characters here. So at MWSF49 says, "Can you guys talk about the amount of screen time for each character?" As I thought Joss did a good job. I will tell you that I think that he did a great job with Hawkeye. Hawkeye for sure. The stuff with revealing that he was married. Learning more about his character and just the whole thing, the way that the ending with Quicksilver, after Quicksilver dies, and when you have Hawkeye who has gone through this transition. Yeah, you got something, Ken?
Regarding the Hawkeye stuff, I think it was very good, and there's always been this talk of Jeremy Renner wanting more, needing more. But for the last 2+ years, Marvel's had a great Hawkeye series by Matt Fraction, which is a different Hawkeye, and it is a funny, not married. He's kind of a loser guy. Not loser is not the right, but he runs an apartment complex in New York. It is hilarious. Yeah. And the character has much more depth. So when they went this, when Linda Cardellini shows up and he's married and he's had to see... It's
older Hawkeye. I got to disagree with you. I thought Hawkeye was the best part of the movie this time. He's the most developed for sure, and I thought
it was the best for him. Yeah,
they were tying you down. They were making you emotional, adding the family aspect so that you think he's going to die.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. And he hoodwinked us, which I loved.
Save the cat moment, and I get it.
There you go.
So, and then you have this relationship. Some people like the Bruce Banner and
Natasha.
Thank you. They like that storyline. I liked it. Some people don't like it. I thought that even though she needed a love interest, and so far she's been tied to Captain America, so far she's been tied to Hawkeye, but this time it looks like she really was falling for Bruce Banner, and I actually thought those two they had pretty good chemistry.
Is it in the comics that they're?
I don't think so. Not so much.
I know the Ultimate line, Natasha and Tony Stark dated at one point.
Okay,
that's in the comics,
and that's even teased in Iron Man 2. So, but this, I think it's like a soap opera. It's what happens, and it's fine. Now this is the whole thing with Natasha. This is where this Joss Whedon thing with Twitter comes in. So in the movie, Natasha she got fixed, and she couldn't have kids anymore because they wanted to make her a more efficient assassin.
Yeah.
Now, she says at one point, she's like, I'm a monster. Mm-hmm. Now, the way that a lot of feminists took this was the fact that she said because she's a monster, because she was women who can't have babies are monsters now. That's not what Joss Whedon was saying. That's not. What he was saying was the fact that the way I took it.
She's a killing monster?
That was it. I think because the reason that she let them do that to her so she could kill.
Right.
Made her feel like she was a monster.
Yeah, she'd made a choice that was monstrous.
Right. That's what that's the way I took
over
it.
Twitter.
Me too.
They ripped at him for that. The only thing that I see he probably could have stayed away from was the prima nocta joke.
What is that?
That's probably not it was a joke. It
came from Tony Stark.
It's a sexual assault / rape joke, sort of.
It's a rape joke.
It's in there. Yeah, I know what
he said something about rape.
He says if I lift the hammer, I'll reinstitute prima nocta, and it's an ancient allowing rape to happen.
It's basically like the nobles, the English nobles would come in, and
that's what happened in Braveheart.
In Braveheart, and the nobles would come in, and they just could have their way with any Scottish woman or whatever. So and
maybe shouldn't have done that.
Maybe shouldn't have had that one out there. So that one I can't really defend. But the other one to where the feminists really knocked him off, and eventually he just. He was getting bombarded and he quit Twitter.
You know what's funny is when we're talking about it now, I see it how you see it. I didn't know this was a thing because I just got back in town. I'm trying to get my life in order from being away for a month. Yeah. But when I watched the movie, I did take it as she was saying, this has happened to me. I'm barren. I did take it that way, but I don't know that I let it bother me. Maybe I should have.
Yeah.
But thinking on it, that's not what he meant.
I don't think that's what he meant.
I don't think it's what he meant.
No.
Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo did an interview the other day that I read, and he said, and Mark Ruffalo, in everything I've ever seen of him, he's like the calmest, nicest guy.
Yeah.
And he's very into like environment and everything. He actually got a little upset. He was like, look, I know Whedon personally, and it actually makes me angry that so many people are saying these things about him, because I know that it's just not how he feels. So I don't know. Obviously, I don't know any of these people, and I don't like judging people that I don't know. But I think it's really clear that they even show flashbacks of her shooting a man with a bag over his head. Now, these are things that haunt her, and I think it's exactly what you're saying. She as a character feels horrible for allowing her body to be manipulated so that she could become a murderer.
Right. Now, the artist formerly known as JTI, can you turn your mic on for a second?
What up?
So give me the positives and negatives that you took out of Ultron.
I had the same experience you did. The first time I saw it, I felt a little disappointed. Saw it like 3 days later. Enjoyed it because I knew what to expect. For me, it's a fun movie. It's a fun blockbuster popcorn movie. If you turn your brain off, which you get kind of... I didn't have to do that for the first film. I enjoyed the first one so much. And then, like, 6 months later, there was a little bit of a backlash on Avengers because people were revisiting on home video, and they saw the problems with, like, the bad guys falling dead in one after the ship blows up. This one, I had those same problems, but, like, the second I saw the movie.
Okay.
I feel like there's a rumor there's going to be a 3-hour director's cut.
I would love that.
And I feel like that could fix a lot of problems. I was talking to you earlier, Kristian. There's this great scene with the twins where they talk about they're buried in rubble. There's a bomb there with Stark's name on it. And she says the great line, like, we waited 2 days for Tony Stark to kill us. And I'm thinking, oh, man, this is going to be a great confrontation between these two and Tony Stark. Yeah. And it never comes to fruition.
Pays off.
Right. That's what I said. And Aaron Taylor Johnson, I watched an interview with him earlier. I don't know if you were going to mention this, but he talked about a scene that he filmed. He said there was a scene that he filmed where during this explosion, Thor's cape catches on fire, and Quicksilver sees it, runs circles around Thor, and puts out the fire. And they took that out of the movie too. Like, he said there was tons of scenes they did.
It seems like there was a lot. Wow. Even Whedon was going. Even though I think that Whedon talked way too much and was a little too outspoken about his problems with Marvel, I think that if he would have been quiet and had even did some leaks and had someone else do it for him, the fans wouldn't have turned on him as much as he did, because he's just talking too much, smacking against Marvel as his movie's coming out. It's like, pick your moments, man. But that being said, there was other things that he said in there that he wanted to do, like we wanted to put in Captain Marvel at the end. He wanted to put in Spider-Man at the end. But let's talk about Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. I think they were both developed pretty well. For you did too, Mundy? I got Mundy back there. What's up, Mundy? So as far as the development of those two characters, I thought they were developed really well. And then they killed off Quicksilver at the end. I know they had to do it because they figured everyone was waiting for someone to die,
right?
And Quicksilver was the one that had to die. Now, was it a waste? And let's ask the Mundinator here. Nick Mundy's here a little early now. We got Mundy from Screen Junkies, Movie Fights, and Nothing to Report.
Hey, gang.
Hey, what's up, Nick? So
I'm still gonna do a big entrance with a cape.
And you should. Yeah. You should. This is just a preview. This is a preview. I wanted to get your thoughts. I know that when you're back, then you hear us talking about you got. What do you got? What do you got?
Well, first off, the not understanding like what they were saying about Scarlet Witch. Come on, that's silly people.
You mean Black Widow?
Yeah, the Black Widow.
Yeah.
Silly people.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Right.
Silly people.
So
I loved Scarlet Witch. Like I saw it twice. She's like one of my favorite characters
so far, right? And so you're glad she's coming back in Civil War and everything.
Yeah, and like Quicksilver, like man, he was great.
I thought he was pretty good too. He wasn't as good as X-Men Days of Future Past Quicksilver. You disagree?
That movie's a scene, man.
Stop that. I know we've talked about this on movies. That's another show. What's the kid's name?
Peters.
Yeah,
I believe he's a spokesperson for a fast food restaurant.
He was, and I thought he was going to be terrible in that. I
just thought he was like
Peters.
a sitcom.
Yeah.
Look, that was that was an okay scene, but like I dug I probably dug Avengers a little bit more.
The reason I liked Quicksilver in this movie, not better or worse, but just the reason I liked him is because I was really turned off by Aaron Taylor Johnson from Godzilla. He bored the piss out of me, and I was worried that
the cardboard,
the walking stick figure, but he wasn't.
I think this was his best performance in any like major. Yeah, maybe the
Kick-Ass.
I've seen him do some real. Like, did you see Nowhere Boy?
Yeah,
when he played John Lennon.
The most like mainstream stuff.
Yeah,
this
mainstream.
is his best part, and because he's very charismatic, he's very funny.
So you think they killed him off too quick? Who said yes? Ace?
I did. I was sad.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Like, and you know, someone was gonna die.
Yeah.
But look, I think it's gonna make Scarlet Witch way more interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, and I think she's the more interesting character because cool speed guy. We've seen it.
Yeah.
But no, I thought like I bought everything.
Yeah.
I bought her, and then the Vision Supermaning.
Yeah, that was fun too.
Because that Vision's the best Superman on film in like 30 years.
See, that's the one thing I will disagree with Ken though too. Is for me, I mean, not disagree with Ken because he didn't have fun. I had a lot of fun in the movie for sure.
Me too.
Because of the banter, the back and forth. Riley, give me some of the things that you really liked about the movie and some of the things maybe that you didn't.
I mean, in general, I love the Vision. I loved Ultron. And
Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis I liked. I imagine he's going to be coming back in Black Panther, so that's cool.
Cuttlefish.
Yeah, and just in general, I really enjoyed the fact that Whedon spun all those plates and managed to keep them spinning the whole time.
Yeah.
And, however, I would have loved, and I think Thor gets such a bad rap sometimes. Thor, the original Thor I love, and I wanted more Thor.
Yeah.
And I wish he could have had... You hear that the cut was Loki in his dream sequence.
Yeah.
That he could either have the farm or cut that Loki scene.
Right.
And so he had to cut the Loki scene. But I just wanted some more development because what Thor was doing was setting up Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed the hell out of that and wanted more. Because it was a little bit like, oh, now he's gone. Oh, now he's with, okay. And what's going on? And then we're back to the action. It just seemed a little wonky to me.
That's the hard thing that I imagine Joss Whedon looking at a blank screen. He's about to start writing this script. I always try to imagine a writer actually doing that. And then how do you please all of these people who like all of these different characters? And one person's going to want to see more Thor, and one person's going to want to see more Captain America.
It's like being a coach for the All-Star team. It really is. And so you have at SG Gomez 0814 says, I feel like Vision looked too human for a robot. What are your guys' thoughts? Was that really a robot?
Oh, no. He's an android.
Kind of an
android.
He's like a humanoid.
Because when Hawkeye is hurt and they do that surgery to him, they're using that material, tissue building that ultimately builds Vision. So he's computer meets. He's like a cyborg. So it's like the first cyborg. But we're gonna go. Hey, do I have time to play that clip, Ken, or should I do it after the break?
Which one?
The clip I want to show. Not Mundy's, the other one.
Yeah, want to do it after.
Do it afterwards? Okay, do it afterwards. All right, so when we get back, we are going to talk a little bit more Avengers, then we're going to play Upham's Corner, but I want to show a special clip that I have for you guys. But Chris Stuckmann, Kelen Coleman, Mark Riley, Nick Mundy will be here in a little bit to talk about his show, and Chris Jericho as well. Schmoes No Movies.
Everyone's favorite segment, commercial commentary with Dobby. I'm in a really good mood today because I only have to introduce one clip for this break. It's the music video for Up to Something by Shotgun Honeymoon, a good friend of the show who was a guest in the early days of the Schmoes Know podcast. Dobby likes to sing this song when he gets wasted at Hogwarts karaoke nights. He really steals the show when he gets a little tipsy. So check out this video, you might even see a familiar face in the crowd.
And I think that they're up to something, and I think that they're up to something, and I think that they're up to something, and I think that they're up to something. If I gotta tell you this once, then I'll have to tell you again. They got something up their sleeves under that shady grin. And I think that they're up to something, and I think to something. Make them think you are weak when you are that strong. Keep your spade where I told you, in your pocket till dawn. As if I gotta tell you this once, then I'll have to tell you again. They've got something up their sleeves under that shady grit. And I think that they're up to something. And I think that they're up to something. And I think that they're up to something. And I think that they're up to something.
Schmoeville, the Schmoes No Movie Show. It was the Ultron, Age of Ultron spoiler discussion. I also like to thank the band Shotgun Honeymoon for the video we showed. And for those of you who are wondering, well, what the hell is that? If you looked at it, you saw an old character from this show, the death of Finstock. Finstock was on that video. So if you didn't know what the hell it was, Finstock was on the show on that video back in the day. So what I want to do now, before we'll talk a little bit more, because I want to take a few phone calls from Schmoeville about Ultron. But before we do that, I want to show a clip so there's this clip. Between the Sheets is a show that Josh McCouga hosts. And let's put that full screen.
I think he asked me to be on this one.
I'm sure he did.
But we didn't get, it was...
So I want to watch this clip here, and then I'll explain a little more. But let's show... JC's going to set this up. So this was the episode where Mark Ellis, Alicia Malone, Ken Knapsack, and I think a few others, Jeremy Johns, a few other people, actually took over for McCouga's show. McCouga hosts this show, and they asked him a bunch of questions. So here are some of the questions that Mark Ellis in a segment on that show asked. Go ahead.
Let's play some word association. Okay. I'm going to say the name of somebody, and then you tell me the first word that pops into your head. So, for instance, if I say Barbara Streisand.
Singing.
Janis Joplin.
Fat overdose.
Michelle Rodriguez.
Oh, slutty Hawaii.
Tiger Woods.
Ugh, what an idiot.
Sharon Stone.
Slutsville, USA.
Gandhi.
I mean, just eat something.
Kelen Coleman.
The one that just took me out. Just shot me in the legs.
I watched it happen. Nicki Minaj.
All right, cut it.
He almost said the one that got away.
He almost did.
Yeah, he did. That's where he tailored that.
This is like a whole thing I never knew existed.
Well, no. So many great things about this. So we also did a show. The after.
I don't blush. Am I blushing?
You're blushing.
Yeah.
So the After Hours show was a show that we did. You can't find it on. We only did it live, and that was it.
Okay.
And we brought up Kelen Coleman to Josh McCouga, and it was just, it's like he went blah, 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 blah. And while we was talking, the whole thing that happened, we went to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, we did.
Now McCouga's got is Makuga's the wild man. He's got game, and when and he's just like the smooth guy, and you see him, he comes in here, the women are in here, he's talking to him. But with you, he turned into an 8th grader.
Oh, it's a fact.
Right? Ken, break us down.
I was there. Now, I am in awe of Josh Makuga's ability to talk to women. And I don't know, you could have been single, married, engaged. We didn't know. You guys were really having a great time at Buffalo Wild Wings, hitting it off. We're all kind of like, everyone back away. Bill comes, something goes on, some bet happens, and then you pay for the bill, leave, and then here's one.
No, I paid for the bill.
You paid for the bill. Yeah, that's what
Which probably was his first mistake.
Right.
There you go.
You paid for the bill. He left, and here's Makuga. I'll do an impersonation of him on the corner of Hollywood and that little side street there.
He was so confused.
I
never seen him rattle.
It was like watching Tyson get
It was
knocked
like the
down
first
by
time
Buster
Tyson
Douglas.
got knocked out. Yeah, stumbling, trying to get the mouthpiece back in his mouth. Yeah,
The Charlie Brown theme was playing. Blum, blum, blum.
Yeah, so tonight.
It's so funny how men versus women view a situation.
How did you view the situation?
I was making new friends.
Right. She's blushing. So it just was, and it's
So you
been.
didn't think twice.
Now you got to remember this was 2 years ago. So anytime he's got that confidence, we just go Kelen Coleman.
Oh no!
Yeah. So we've done that.
He's great though. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
I don't remember what was happening at the time. I think I was single, but I might have just been getting over someone. Oddly enough, as I am right now as well.
There you go.
And,
so Makuga,
Makuga, where are you at?
Where are you at? And he
give
blows
it a go.
And he's not here.
But be willing to lose your other ball.
Wow. And there you go. So I told Makuga, because I said to him, I texted him, and I said, Stuckmann's on tonight. I said, so you're going to be there, right? And he's like, well, no. I'm like, I had a good co-host. He's like, Stuckmann? I go, well, yeah, Stuckmann, but somebody else. He's like, who? And I go, somebody. You should watch the show. He goes, who? And I go, Kelen Coleman. He just writes back in all caps, you fucking dick. Makuga, we send you love. But I just had to go and show that clip there. Now, that being said, now going back into Ultron talk, let's get the fans on the line. 424-253-0504. Talk about some of the stuff, and then let's do a mic test with the interns. Apparently, okay, interns. So up 'em. Ace, what's going on?
How's it going, guys?
Well, mics aren't on. That's good.
Mics aren't on. No? How are we now?
No.
No?
Okay.
Good?
Yeah, we're good.
Oh, yeah, there they are.
Thanks, guys.
There
Good
we
job.
go.
Good
All
job.
right, cool.
All
Thanks. Sweet.
And that was mic test with the interns.
Oh, wow.
It's a new segment here.
It's
That
a new
was the best.
segment. Speaking of new segments, I got something else for you guys. And this is something nobody knew I was going to do this.
No.
So if you guys don't know, we have a t-shirt store, tpublic.com/schmoes. And I just put Alicia Malone's new shirt up there. And it's a Red Fury shirt, and it's been selling like crazy. It's awesome. But here's my challenge to the Schmoes Know crew. Whoever, and you can have someone from Schmoville design you a shirt, a Pit Boss shirt, a Yodi shirt, whatever it is. Whoever's shirt sells the most by November of this year, you get to go to the Star Wars press screening and possibly the premiere. Whoever does it. Look at Cody. Cody's like, Cody, you think you're screwed?
How do we get a shirt on there?
H just left.
I have a few designs in mind.
Yeah. Okay. So that's just a challenge out there for you guys. And the question is for you, Schmobo. Who do you think could probably sell the best? If you're lucky, Finstock's not here. Is not alive anymore. So
yeah, right.
All right. We'll talk about that in a second. I want to get to the phones here. 424-253-0504. Talk to Schmobo about Ultron. Some more of the things going on. Do you guys think this comes from Valentine Lisser? Do you think that they'll kill off more of the Avengers? They can't keep having giant casts without being too bloated. I agree with that. And I think that the stakes are going to be pretty high down the line. I think that Captain America in the comic book dies, right?
He does. You think in the Civil War storyline? At the end of Civil War,
would you be upset if Captain America died?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the going rumor.
You don't look upset. You're like, yeah, I'd be really upset.
No, I smile when I feel uncomfortable.
Right.
Oh no, that would be
horrible.
horrible.
You were smiling about 5 minutes ago.
I love Captain America.
Yeah.
That would be awful. It'd be terrible. I mean, my wife has a poster of him in our bedroom, and it looks over our bed.
Oh, it's on the ceiling for.
Yeah. So there's that always in my mind.
Well, do you think that they're going to wind up first of all killing Captain America, killing off other people? Because there's only so many times you can introduce a brand new character and then kill him. Yeah. Because they're not going to kill Spider-Man when he gets introduced. Right. That'd be silly. If there is going to be someone who dies, it's probably going to be. I mean, if it's going to be huge, I'm not betting on Hawkeye anymore. I'm going to probably bet on Cap if anybody goes out, just because of the rumors that Chris Evans his contract was ending out sooner or later, and
Why did they put that awful wig on him? That needs to die, not him.
What wig?
I'm pretty sure that dies.
Wig.
I think that dies hair.
Well, but it's a piece because it like goes. It's not his normal good trust.
Oh, okay.
I am a girl.
Yeah, I believe you. I trust
It's
you.
not a good thing.
I think it would be him if you go by the fact that he's going to focus on directing. His contract will be up, and it follows the comics line. And then it would more so they could put Bucky in with the Shield like they did in the comics.
It's true.
And kind of have a run there, and then maybe Chris can go off, do his directing, and then come back.
Yeah.
And just, I don't know if that's legitimate because we're talking about millions of dollars in salaries and whatnot.
How much? I mean, how much did it cost to have all those huge stars in this movie?
Oh man, I mean that's the beauty of locking them up in contracts for so long. But, I mean, it's a certain amount because they lock these guys down to like 10 movies when you first sign.
Really?
And then there's the renegotiations.
I'm ready.
You should do it.
Downey Jr. is the only one that had to renegotiate.
Right. Well, to get him back into Civil War. And
2 Avengers.
Well, because from what it's looking, it's really going to be. I mean, the premonition that he has in Ultron, when he sees everyone dying and the cracked shield and everything too. That's why initially I thought, Civil War doesn't really, they don't play into it too much. It's subtle, but they do. Yeah. They even with the Hulk, the Hulk Buster and all that stuff. That's gonna, you would hope that's gonna have some effect in Civil War. But then again, the end of Iron Man 3, they had no effect on the beginning of Ultron.
Yeah, I think Whedon had even tweeted back when he was tweeting. He said something like, "Iron Man 3. What am I going to do now?" Like he was writing Avengers at the time. Yeah, and I think he quit. Iron Man quit. He's like, "I'm done," and you quit. I mean, like, how do you make another movie with Iron Man and then another movie with Iron Man? He didn't even
explain it though. In the beginning, it was like he
didn't explain it. But I had to go back to what I say. Imagine staring at that blank screen, about to start writing your screenplay. How do you somehow balance all of this and then explain Robert Downey Jr.'s coming back from not being Iron Man and stuff? Because I feel like the only thing he could do was what they did at the end, where Robert Downey Jr. was like, I think I'm going to go off for a while. Yeah. It was kind of like he was like, I'm going to go off for a while, like I did in Iron Man 3.
Like that, someone just suggested Kelen Coleman for Elektra.
Who's Elektra?
Elektra.
Do I know her?
You know what? You bet she's like the... The camera coming straight with a tan, looking like he popped
straight out of Hawaii.
He picked out of a 50s movie. Look at you.
I didn't know any. Makuga just came in, and I did not know any of that existed.
He doesn't even know what happened. I don't think.
What did you play? The Between the Sheets clip?
Yeah. But the reaction was priceless.
What
was her reaction?
She teared up.
I did tear up.
She was blushing. She said at the night at Bubble, you were an embarrassment to yourself and to Italians.
I did not say that.
It's like, you
do look very nice with the tan pick
look at you guys.
There you go.
Wow.
You look gorgeous as always.
Welcome to the Schmoes No dating system. Anyway, so we're talking about Ultron here. Yeah. Now, you saw the movie.
I didn't see the movie.
You didn't see. What the fuck are you doing here?
I thought you told me it would be over by the time I got here.
Yeah, I didn't know what time. I didn't realize you'd race 100 miles an hour here to get here. I thought you were going to get here like 7:30.
I definitely was in the car going, Kelen.
All right. Let's get back to the. We'll get to you in a second.
Yeah, sure. Do you want me to go couch?
Yes. Go hang on the couch. Because at 7:30 we're going to have both Chris Jericho and Nick Mundy in here. But I want to get to the Schmoville here. Let's get to Schmoville. JT, put him on the line. You ready? Hey, you're in Schmoville. Who do we got?
Hey, it's Tristan from California.
Hey, dude, what's going on? So you saw Ultron. What'd you think, and what particular moment do you want to talk about tonight?
Like you, when I saw the film, like I loved the film, but there was something missing. I was a little disappointed in the movie, and kind of after sitting on it for a while, I kind of realized that, hey, it's a summer blockbuster, and I'm going to go revisit it again this weekend. But I like it a lot more just thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I think the best part about the movie is just the way that they handled Vision. I think something that a lot of superhero movies are getting better at, but something that they kind of lacked is kind of like a theme or something that's like, like this person represents this. And I think what Whedon did with Vision was kind of pose this question for one of the Avengers, is like, well, what is right and what is wrong isn't really black and white. It's kind of this gray area. And I think he really represented this whole kind of like good question. I think it actually lends itself to Civil War, just the way that they're going to go with that storyline.
Yeah, it's a great point. Thanks for the call, dude. Riley, what do you think about that?
You go. I'm thinking.
Okay. Well, I have thoughts.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I like that because there's that scene where Vision comes in and they're like, "Well, which side are you on?" He's like, "I don't think it's that clear. I'm on the side of life. Ultron isn't." And that gives you like a immediate deeper understanding of Vision. And you only need like one sentence, and that's one of the things that he did great with Vision. And everyone almost always likes Vision. Everyone I've talked to enjoyed Vision, which is pretty amazing because he has like no setup and he's barely in the movie, but everyone wants more of him. So that's good. I mean, he had a cool look, but his character was also interesting. And like I just said, it was just like one sentence, and you understood exactly what he stood for.
Yeah, I thought Vision was handled really well, and I do agree with the things that he said. The only thing that I had, and it wasn't against Vision, it was at the very end of the movie when Cap is talking to Black Widow about, well, we have this group, I don't know if they're ready. But Vision's there. He just killed Ultron. What do you mean? He can beat all you with one hand.
I didn't actually think about it.
You know, he's floating around, and they're like, well, right. I don't know if these ragtags can handle it.
I feel you on that.
It's Ultron. I mean, it's Vision.
Well, I think too, it's just, we spent 2 movies essentially with them. The first movie is them working as a team, but they got to do that now again.
That's right.
I think that's what kind of
dynamic more than anything else.
I think that's what it was.
And Tyler Myers, who's one of Schmoebill's best, at Myers FTW, can we please talk about when Vision picked up Thor's hammer? My whole theater went, holy shit.
Yeah, that was awesome.
The moment was great.
It was great.
Well, because the stone, man. I mean, what he's got, he's going to be such a integral part against Thanos and we'll talk about that post.
And that's the blue guy at the end, yeah.
The one who said, I'll do it myself.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And that scene was the payoff for that scene was the fact that he had them all trying to lift it early on.
Yeah.
He had that great scene where they're trying to, and it was so comical. And then when they're all just standing there, and he goes, we should probably go, and just hands it to him. it was just like, whoa! Like, and I'm sorry, Josh, because you haven't seen the movie, but
he doesn't.
Oh, you're gonna have just spoils all over.
He didn't hear a word we're saying. He's been tweeting to God knows who.
Everybody.
I'm sitting here with
I don't
that
have
one
my
girl.
phone. I should get my phone.
Well, Makuga, since you're here, do what you do when you're going through the tweets here, and we'll pick out some good tweets about Ultron. But let's take another call from the fans. Hey, you're in Schmoeville. Who do we got?
Hey, it's Griffin from North Carolina.
Hey, dude, what's going on, man?
North Carolina.
So, all right, North Carolina, what do you got for us?
Okay, well, I fucking love the movie. I straight up came when he picked up that hammer. It was freaking awesome. My entire theater.
Is this Makuga? You throwing your voice?
The one thing that I had was that it wasn't really a complaint much of it was more of just something that I wish was a little bit more prevalent was I kind of wish they set up Civil War a little bit better, like the conflict between Tony Stark and Captain America. I kind of wish that they kind of made it more like they were more at odds because their final conversation in the movie was just a little bit too. It wasn't
buddy.
It didn't have enough conflict.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for the call. Go take a shower. I agree with him. Even though, like I said before, I think because what we're talking about here is with the conflict that's ultimately got to happen between.
Yeah. What is it? Civil War is.
There's two sides. It's going to be Stark versus Captain America.
Okay.
It's basically the Avengers fighting against one another, and because it's the next movie in the slate. By the end of it, looks like they're happy. But what we've seen from Iron Man 3 into this is that there'll probably be a chunk of time that they're just going to kind of go into whatever. It's here are the issues, here's what's happening, and maybe they'll be against one another, and you won't necessarily see the progression of it.
Well, I think they're going for the comic line somewhat, and it even said in the synopsis today, something happens with the new Avengers that causes collateral damage, and it splits them down the middle, government and superheroes. They can have it right there. They just differ right there, and that's the start of it. Yeah. I didn't need some kind of build to that because there really is a moment in Civil War that happens that will divide them. Yeah. So we don't need that in Ultron.
And I think one of the biggest issues with these Marvel movies is they're so episodic now, where it's impossible for a filmmaker to come in and make his own movie because there's so many contractually obligated things he has to do, and that's one of the problems with Ultron was that he had to set up Ragnarok a little bit with that spring. He had to have these various scenes that he didn't want to put in there, and that's when a studio starts to maybe push too many buttons. Same thing happened with Sam Raimi with Spider-Man 3. They wanted Venom, he didn't want Venom, and the movie faltered because of that. And the problem with that is that people want set up for Civil War, but Joss Whedon's trying to make his movie.
Right.
Yeah.
He's not trying to make Civil War, so he's trying to make his whole film. And then other people are like, well, I'm excited for Civil War. we're gonna get to see Civil War.
Right. I think. Do you think that the problem was, and someone suggested this to me on Twitter, and I agree. The problem is when you announce Civil War, when you announce that, then of course you're going to be playing into your head. That might have been Marvel's mistake. That they maybe could have announced Civil War afterwards. I don't know, but the fact that it comes out in a year, so maybe they couldn't have done that. But by saying, "Hey, this is what you're definitely getting," of course you're going to be like, "What's how?"
Yeah.
Because I know it's coming.
No, you're so right. Because when I was in the theater and when Mark Ruffalo said Wakanda, somebody behind me went, "Oh, Black Panther!"
Right.
And then Black Panther wasn't in the movie.
Right.
And because everyone's so excited for certain things, and you're just gonna have to wait. I mean, you'll get these things, you'll get to see them versing. It's just that this movie didn't really focus on that because there's so many things to focus on.
There's other things to do first.
Yeah. Well, let's take one Twitter question, and then we're going to move into Upham's Corner.
So
JT, turn on the McCooks. All right.
At JJ Alberto,
Yeah.
Hartwell Heisenberg, at Schmoes No. Did you like the post-credit scene? I was disappointed. We've already seen Thanos. I prefer Civil War setup. Hashtag Schmoes No.
I mean, there's a lot of rumor that you were going to get Spider-Man in there, and then you get Thanos. Now, you obviously didn't know who that was.
Well, I did. I remembered after. I was
But
like,
were you let down by that?
It wasn't usually when those scenes come on. It's one of those moments. I wasn't.
No, See, not
It was
yet,
just
but I
something
thi-
you already knew.
But I think the difference is, I actually was excited for it, but I think the difference what might be, because he's going to be the ultimate villain in Avengers Infinity War 1 and 2, which come out in 3 or 4 years.
Right.
When you go back after knowing what he's going to do and the amount of chaos and destruction that he's going to do, that scene might benefit more after rewatching it.
Sure.
So
it's not really a scene though.
It's not.
It's like
It's one
7
line.
seconds.
it's like, here I come. Yeah.
It was just kind of
fine.
like
I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
But they could, usually those are those moments of like,
Yeah.
Right.
and it just didn't have that anything like that. Yeah, it didn't have the
I liked it was consistent. He popped up at the end of Avengers.
Yeah.
Popped up in part 2.
Sure. And he'll be in all of the new ones.
And then I don't know who's going to be.
It's true. It's just like
at the end
nothing.
there, but
Nothing's ever going to beat the shawarma scene to me. I mean, I just to me that
which
it
they
had
filmed last minute.
Oh, when I
so
saw the
great.
screening for the movie, it wasn't even in it yet.
Yeah.
Because I saw it like 2 weeks early. And they hadn't even tagged it on yet.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it has nothing to do with another movie. It doesn't set up a sequel, doesn't set up a franchise. It's just our favorite heroes eating in a restaurant. And
I loved that.
It's
I forgot about it.
It's never gonna. I'm never gonna see an end credit scene better than that. I don't think I ever will.
Okay, so I'll take one more call from Schmobile. JT, you got any more? No, you can't. You got mad at me? Don't wave your hands. I can see you waving your hands.
No, I was just
dopey ass.
saying no. I already cut the calls.
You already cut the calls. All right. give me an arm flail anyway. Give me an arm flail. Thank you. All right. So then that's as far as the Avengers spoiler talk. That's it. We talked a good 45 minutes about it, and there'll be a lot more. Like I said, you can tweet. You got something else, Makuga?
Last night.
What?
Last night you were like, we're only doing 20 minutes on Ultron. That's all I can do.
I know.
There was something you wanted to talk about, the accents.
Oh yeah. The accents of Scarlet Witch, and actually when I was on Movie Fights, one of my argument was I thought Jeremy Renner had the best performance, and then Amy Nicholson from LA Weekly had said that she thought that Scarlet Witch
Elizabeth Olsen,
yeah, and for me, I thought because her accent, I don't know what the hell it was. It wasn't Russian, it wasn't Croatian. I don't know what it was.
It was
but
Tony
it was something made up, and they were just so in and out. And at one point, and then you didn't see that coming. It sounded like Count Chocula or something.
You didn't see that coming.
You didn't see that coming from
An
Mattel
accent
this
can
fall.
take me out, like
it took you
out
out of
of
it.
a movie so quickly, and I think she's a great actress, and I love her work, and I like what's his name's work.
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Thank you.
Yes.
And but the accent, more so, I heard it on hers, was coming in and out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was so. Some people didn't have some accents. Some people liked the accent. So it's
the person I was with, and he's an actor
didn't
too,
care.
and he didn't even
Yeah,
care.
see,
Granted,
some people
he can't do accents.
You can't do it. And you
Holler
can do
at me
this.
for them.
Can you hit us with a good one? Good Russian accent?
Russian. She did, I'm Russian. She did this, but
tell me about your time at Buffalo Wild Wings with McCogan.
I had wings, and I'm not doing it. But if you're doing a movie and you're doing an accent, you hopefully work with a trainer or not a dialect coach.
Yeah.
If you're very bad at it, you'll have someone on set with you, and you do a lot of work. So I would like to think if a director hears a slip or something, they pause, have the person say the line in the ear.
And I wonder how much of that was ADR also, because I mean,
True.
those are the kind of things you can fix a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It wasn't perfect. That's for sure.
Okay, so that is it. That's the talk. Now we play Upham's Corner. JT, hit the music.
Never gets old.
Very nice, Upham. Okay, Upham. So let's. Kellen, here's how this works. Upham, we're just going to have a bunch of topics that he brings up, and we're just going to discuss it. It's pretty easy, pretty simple. I don't know what the hell he's come up with, but Upham, what do you got?
All right, number one. Do you guys think Mad Max will be a box office hit, or is it not mainstream enough?
I think it'll be a hit. I don't think it's going to be like a mega hit. And JTE and I were just talking about this. It's specific. And I think Makuga said this the other day or a couple weeks ago. I still think Pitch Perfect will edge it out in the box office.
Pitch Perfect's going to kill.
I think it'll beat it by like 5 million. I think it'll be Avengers, and then Pitch Perfect 2, and then Mad Max, because I think the word of mouth so far, what I'm hearing about Max, is it's going to be spectacular.
Right.
So
I need to see the first one. Whoops.
Well, there's three of them.
Three?
This is the fourth. Yeah. But you won't be lost. You won't. I really don't think you'll be lost. From what I heard, it kind of stands.
It's
on
a different.
own.
I guess what they're going for is a universe in which Mad Max interacts with people and they tell their story of him, but they all have a different idea of what he looks like.
What do you think, Riley? What do you think, Riley, as far as making it mainstream? Is it going to make some money or what?
I think it will, and I think it's because of this word of mouth. I don't think it's going to beat Avengers. I think it will beat Pitch Perfect. And then if if the word of mouth is correct and everybody likes it, it could become a hit and maybe be one of those that takes over the number one spot when you least expect it weeks later.
Now, Kellen, have you seen the trailer for Mad Max?
I have not.
You have not. Okay.
I feel like I've seen that one scene where they're driving in the desert.
But this
is that the whole movie?
You see, but now, now JT, this is what I'm talking about here. Is
Probably.
because obviously out of the two, Pitch Perfect 2 is going to be the one that you would pick.
Well, I do have friends in the movie.
Okay.
I just know that the fans, like especially when you have anything that's teen or young adult, they go nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like it is.
It's a good point.
It is just. Like if a boy band is coming out, and it's kind of that plus a movie. And having worked with Rebel before and Anna Camp and like all these people, their numbers like on Twitter and everything when that movie came out just exploded.
Right.
And
it's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, the fans are, and they, and a lot of them follow me because I've worked with a lot of the people in the movie, and they're diehard. They're great.
It's like
and
the
they're
Glee
diehard.
audience too, right?
It's kind of like that. It's like if a boy band and a movie combined.
Yeah.
And the other issue is that the last Mad Max movie came out like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Mad Max
It's not as
Beyond
current.
Thunderdome.
Not a lot of people-
It came out in 85. The last Pitch Perfect movie was a few years ago. And so there's a ton of people who are like, what's Mad Max?
Right.
And so
and I think that's the reason. I do think it's going to be successful. I just don't think it's going to be a mega hit. All right, Upham, what's next?
Speaking of box office, do you think the Age of Ultron opening was a disappointment?
It made $192 million. For me, no. Did it make the 225, 230? It's the second biggest opening of all time next to the Avengers.
Oh my gosh.
It's ridiculous to think that. And also the Pacquiao Mayweather shitfest took away a lot of views for it as well too. So no, it was so boring. It was like drinking a bottle of NyQuil.
I was drinking, so it wasn't that boring.
still in my bank account.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted one of them to win, and the other one did.
Yeah, I mean that was the story of that whole fight's a podcast on itself, a spoiler podcast. Do you? Does anyone think that was a shock at all? I mean, the fact that it didn't make 215 Makooks.
Okay, so you had Furious 7 destroy. Mostly because of the Paul Walker kind of thing.
I wouldn't say mostly, but it definitely had.
But it was an awesome movie. I mean, I loved it.
Yeah, it was fun for sure.
You had right before that, like leading into Ultron, everybody was thinking 225, and I thought it would hit 250 myself. I mean, it was huge, and it didn't do those numbers. If I was Marvel, I would be a little disappointed.
Oh come on, but I mean 200 million. I mean almost $200 million.
Yeah,
and it's gonna crush
in
this
3
week.
days.
What do you think? Hot Pursuit's gonna take it out?
Yeah, Hot Pursuit looks incredible.
What a turd that movie.
Have you
was.
seen it?
Oh, it's the worst.
Oh
it's
no,
the worst.
I had a feeling it was gonna be bad.
It's horrendous.
I can't wait to see it tonight.
What clued you in?
Are you seeing it tonight?
Trailers?
See, here's the deal. I can see it tonight around midnight.
Or you can run into a wall as fast as you can.
I could do that. I could do that.
Yeah.
See, I'm probably going to try to see it tonight at midnight just to say I've seen it and I can review it when I get back, and then I'll see Maggie tomorrow.
Maggie's worth it. All right, Upham, last one before we go to break.
All right. Did the trailer for the Vacation reboot actually make you excited for the movie?
Yes.
For me,
Vacation,
yes.
what?
Oh yeah, so they're doing a Vacation. You remember the movie with Chevy Chase, Vacation?
They're doing that.
A reboot, not a reboot, a sequel with Ed Helms as Rusty.
What?
Did you see the trailer?
That is great.
Yes.
It looks pretty good.
Did you I laughed out loud twice in the trailer.
I did too. Stuckmann, did you see it?
I purposely I don't watch comedy trailers anymore.
You don't?
No.
Because you figure they put the best parts in there, right?
I lost it on the.
That's a good idea.
Well,
Yeah.
I specifically didn't watch Star Wars so I could see it in the theater.
You've got to see the Star Wars
I saw the Star Wars trailer in Age of Ultron. But there's a few, aren't there?
Yeah.
There's
two. There's
one
two.
of them.
I think you can probably trust Abrams on that. He's super secretive.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, Riley?
Oh yeah, I when I first heard about it, I was like, oh man, Ed Helms, sure, whatever. Then I heard some positive buzz from CinemaCon from Jeff Snyder, and then I watched this thing and I laughed out loud like a lot.
Is Chevy Chase in it?
Chevy Chase is in it,
but he's not starring in it.
But I think it's a very fresh take, having him want to recreate the vacation to Wally World.
To go to Wally World.
Then it's self-aware. No, people don't remember that vacation. Oh, this vacation will stand on its own. And then just it seems raunchy.
This is some bullshit.
I wish they had. Why can't they use Ethan Embry? I mean, just because he's not a star.
That's true. Well, he's Ed Helms. But he's not.
Ed's a great dude, and he's a good. I worked with him on The Office, and he's really talented, and he'll kill it.
I can't wait.
Also, bluegrass guy. We know a lot of people because my dad.
Oh, right.
So my dad's a bluegrass.
Yeah. So,
it's awesome.
So,
good.
All right, that's it for Upham's Corner. It was quick, but hey, we spent a lot of time on Ultron. When we get back, super excited to have Nick Mundy back in the studio with Chris Jericho, and they're going to be talking about the Comedy Central web series Nothing to Report, Schmoes No Movies.
Press junket interviews? Well, in case you didn't, check him out right now interviewing the cast of the D-Train. It's a hoot.
I ask a lot of rapid fire questions, so if you guys are ready.
Oh shit! Hold on, let me get ready. All right.
Okay. What is your nickname? And if you could pick a nickname, what nickname would you pick?
I don't have a nickname. You call me Jackie. Jackerty McBlackerty.
Marzipants over here?
Marzipants, I'll take that. I'll take anything. Just
I'd go with
me. Eagle's Claw would be the one I would want to be.
Okay, you could go back to high school and remedy your biggest regret. What would that regret be?
Oh, I would shave my legs starting freshman year and not wait till a junior in high school.
You waited till you were a junior in high school?
No, that might be wrong. That's wrong. I think I did it. Wait. The timing's up. I think I must have shaved him a little bit earlier. That would be horrifying.
Okay, that's amazing. What was the theme of your prom? Not shaving legs.
Totally. It was just like,
takes an
that
absence
was just kind of like a cave woman theme.
Alright, everybody, that's gonna do it for Dobby today. Be sure to subscribe to the Schmoes No podcast channel and never miss any of these fun videos. I'll leave you all now with a clip from a classic episode in which Katie Sackhoff reveals some information about a certain scene in Riddick.
Well, see, that brings me to my next point. I don't want to harp on this scene, but I'm just wondering, when you do a nude scene, are you just standing around naked? Tiffany, I got to know this for when I do nudes.
I wish there was like a tally going up every time.
That brings it up.
Brought up
But
the boob scene.
before we get into it, here's the thing that I want to say about this scene.
Yeah.
And we talked about this, and
sounded
you're a
dirty.
friend, so I want to be honest with this and not just say it. I didn't understand the point of it. I'm not complaining about it.
Oh, I understood the point.
But I don't understand. It felt like, and again, you don't have to respond to this, but from my opinion on it, is it felt very like just, hey, this girl's around like 6 or 7 dudes, and now she's topless. Why? Like,
there's actually a purpose behind it.
Okay.
Number one, we needed me out of that uniform.
Okay.
Because it was very masculine, so I had to get into a different uniform, and we had to justify me changing.
We just see femininity.
Okay.
Number two,
This is why she's a beautiful woman. Here to talk about it.
He needed a mirror, a compact of some sort for the next scene.
Right.
And so they knew that the only character he could take it from was a woman, which is me.
Okay.
Yeah, you want Matt Nable putting his makeup on?
And then,
Huh?
and then ultimately what it comes down to is they knew that I have really good tits.
Yeah.
And they wanted to see them.
And I think that's where it came down.
My question is,
it was like, let's see.
Do you usually wash your face?
with your tits out.
Yeah.
Actually, I do.
Do you?
Yes. Do you not?
Yes.
No.
Okay, so I
just turned into a slumber party.
Only if I have something nice on that I don't want to get messed up, but I'll take my top off and
Tiffany, say cockface asshole.
No.
Oh, all
do
right.
it 3 times fast. Cockface asshole.
See?
Cockface asshole.
Big sister just did it.
Could you guys have this conversation again, but slower?
Can you hold this and move in and out
And
from
can you
the
do it?
motion
Can you
of
do
it?
it in front of a mirror, shirtless?
No, I wash my face naked every night when I go to bed because I just throw on like those little cotton. I sleep in little cotton dresses.
Hey now.
Yeah,
that makes 2 of us.
But with no underwear, so it becomes slightly sexier. But I wash my face and then I put my dress on, so
Okay.
I'm always nude.
Okay, but if you're
Stop
nude
talking!
on set,
Stop talking!
Trying to bring it back.
No one needs you to talk right now.
Oh, so the guy that's like, I didn't think I needed to see a boob. Now you want to hear the gross stories about washing
Gross?
themselves naked.
I'm
yeah.
still a dude.
Oh, I didn't think. No, you didn't need
What
to
did I
see tit
say?
in that.
What I said to you was I didn't mind seeing it, but I didn't understand, and she explained it. What's up? It is the Schmoes No Movie Show. Myself, Kristian Harloff, Kelen Coleman, Chris Stuckmann, and joining us at the table is the pit boss himself, Ken Knapsack, and there's a reason for that. Ken Knapsack, you are a hardcore porn fan.
As you established tonight.
Yeah, no, you are a hardcore wrestling fan. You always have been. I know you're very excited to get at the table here tonight. But the reason why is because we are going to be talking now with both Nick Mundy and Chris Jericho is live in Schmoeville.
That was a great introduction for and Nick Mundy.
And Nick Mundy.
It's fine. No,
he was already here before he jumped in and showed his mug. So
he's like the Hollywood whore. Every place we've gone today or last couple of days, he's like, "Hey, Nick, you were here. You did a bit for us."
Or you could say I'm like friendly, and then people like me and they work with me.
He kicked the door open. Yeah, I'd go more with Hollywood whore.
Yeah, I like that better.
Yes,
and that's Hollywood spelled WHOLLY WOOD. Hollywood whore.
They are here to talk about Nothing to Report, the new Comedy Central web series. And, you know, it's funny, Chris, you're actually the second wrestler that's been here. Roddy Piper was in here and slapped our engineer in the face. It was an amazing time. But
Did he just barge in? Was he invited?
No,
Was he just on a tear?
JT was asking him some stupid questions, and then Piper slapped him in the face, and we all laughed and chuckled about it. So.
I always like that when you get lumped in, like, you're the second wrestler that was here. It's like you're the second, mammoth that we've seen in our lifetime. I always get that.
Well, the reason why I also say that is, too, and I was telling you this off air, is that you and I actually worked together. And
did we ever actually work together?
Yes, when I was telling
what bit did we do?
So I was 22 at the time, and I was sold that my bits I was going to pitch them.
So you were writing for the WWE.
I was writing for the WWE,
Gotcha.
and I was pitching these bits. I'm like, this is the one that's going to crush. They're going to see this bit, and it's going to go over so well. And be like, that's the guy that wrote that one. Yeah. And I had the Hardys as like the fallen angels, and they're going to pair them. And Jericho's going to lead them, and it's just going to be this badass thing. And I pitched it to you, and you're like, nah, I'm good. And I'm like,
well, the reason why is we talked about this, is that writers is like a conveyor belt. They come and go so quickly in the WWE. So he's like, hey, you used to work. I'm like, I have no idea, because you go into this room and there'd be 10 guys, and you don't even bother introducing yourself, because I know next week it's like a Friday the 13th movie. The camp counselors, like
Christian was the first one killed.
Then there's 8. Then there's 7. And the thing is, when you probably pitch, I was like, no, I'm good, because I know, like, I'm not in charge of whether this is going to work or not, anyways. And you're probably going to be gone within a month.
You're right.
So what's the point?
I was gone in a month. I'm sitting on the fucking plane eating shrimp, and then the next week I'm on Taco Bell, like trying to save like $1.50.
Well, to be fair, Fallen Angels. I mean, come on,
It was 2001, dude.
Okay,
it was hot back then.
They went from the penthouse with kings and queens to the gutter eating pork and beans,
Chip
baby.
is like the party dudes with a Z. Like, I think Chris would have been.
That was the thing in the 90s. Everybody that had an S in their name was a Z.
It was Z.
The Dudley Boys, the Hardy Boys, the Radicals.
How else do you know you're
Chris
going to party?
Jericho.
Well, you guys are here. We're talking about Nothing to Report, and we actually have a clip from the show.
What?
Yeah, JT. Let's show the clip. Let's everybody watch. All right, here we go. Here is the clip from Nothing to Report. JT, hit it.
How was the party? It's dead. They ran out of punch, so I gave him some shots.
Predator.
You get them all? No. But Teresa 2 did.
Real squibs.
Lethal Weapon music.
Yep.
Well, I guess I didn't get them all. Yeah. Certainly seems like it. Well, that's why you're here to cross the T's, dot the... and dot the I's. You done? Done with what? I mean, one guy, that's understandable. But two guys? Come on! Three guys? Come on, Chance!
Nothing to report, Ken. I know you've fired through the whole series.
I love it. I love cop dramas. I mean, I hate cop dramas. I love making fun of cop dramas, and you guys have done a great job. Did you create this?
Yeah, me and my two writing partners, Clint Gage and Michael Truly, we wrote it, and we pitched it to Comedy Central, and they bought it. And the first name that they showed, told us, was like, "What do you think about Chris Jericho?" And then on the inside, I was like, "I'm a huge wrestling fan, and I love Chris. I think he's great, and also he's very talented and done groundlings and a lot of work." And on the outside, I was like, "Oh, he's really great. Let's do it. Let's do it right now. Let's do it right now." So,
but the thing is you mentioned it's kind of like if you're watching Lethal Weapon or Tango and Cash or these buddy cop movies. What are they doing in between the shootouts? What happens the other 23 hours of the day when they're sitting in a car, arguing with each other, analyzing each other's feelings? And that's what it kind of is. It's like what happens outside, in between the sequels of these buddy cop movies.
And the thing about Riggs and Murtaugh is they're really screwed up characters, especially. Well, Riggs is for everyone that he knows, and just like Jericho's character, Chance Blackstreet. Everyone dies that ever gets near him.
Right.
But Murtaugh, the family man, I mean, who does that? Who keeps fighting South Africans and not requests for a desk job? Who dodges cop killers and then doesn't get retired?
Right.
He keeps doing it because he wants to die. He doesn't want his life anymore.
And so, how did you guys how did you meet this character, and what did you think the first time you met him?
Just met them at a meeting, like you said, Comedy Central called because they were looking for the first choice that they wanted wasn't available, so they called me. And so I took leave from the car wash where I was working, and we had a meeting just at a restaurant, and I walk in there, and you're Hollywood, it's like, oh, you got the Team Tiger Awesome.
Right.
It sounds like these guys sound like some pretty cool cats, and I walk in and you see him, and he's wearing he's like, hi, I'm Nick.
He just thought a fan was there.
Yeah, it's like it's almost like a blind date where you walk in, you're like, I want to leave before they find out. It's like, oh, Chris, we're over here. I was like, I have to have this meeting. But these guys are like, they're a well-oiled machine. They've been writing together for 10 years, and they came up with this whole concept. So for me I had to fit in very quickly because it's guerrilla filmmaking, man. Right. You have to make this. We had 3 nights to film 6 episodes, and so they have their own little world of comedy. So I had to come in and really fit in right away. But we had a lot of similar, influences. Yeah, they beat me down and just made me do whatever they wanted me to do.
Well, and because you were a fan, though, too, of Chris beforehand, too, I mean, I'm sure that you wanted to, as soon as you heard that he was going to be in it, you wanted to make it work even more so. Because a lot of times, look, comedians can be dicks a lot of times and want to steal the spotlight, but I'm sure also to be able to share, it does not work unless the buddy thing is there,
too.
Well,
the thing is, me, Clint, and Truly, we started off doing sketch comedy, and that's our love. It's sketch comedy and action movies, and that's why this is like the perfect project for us. And sketch comedy, improv, it's all collaboration, it's all yes-anding, it's all making the other person look better. And I knew Chris did Groundlings, and so I was never worried about that. It was like, hey, how's it going to be working with Chris? It's gonna be great because
you did Groundlings.
Chris did Groundlings. I've done UCB, so I mean.
And that's the worst thing if you come into an atmosphere where every word on the printed page is golden, it's genius, don't change it. This was the opposite. We knew there was going to be a lot of improv involved.
Been in both
right? And that's where it just kills all creativity. And another thing is too, this is about 2 cops analyzing each other's feelings while on a stakeout, and they're neurotic and they're weird and they've got problems. And we are actually literally, Nick and Chris, sitting in a car for hours waiting for them. So we're actually bonding as 2 guys analyzing each other's feelings in a car waiting to play these 2 characters.
Well, in those conversations in the car, you guys coming up with some bits because that'll happen, man.
Absolutely. You have to have that right in that atmosphere. And like we said, when you do 6 episodes of 5 minutes each, it has to be tight. Every line has to work. Every scene has to be good. You don't have time to have the fat and the fluff. So we were doing a lot of improving, and a lot of it stayed in there. You just never know what you're going to come up with when you're on the set.
And Clint, the director, did a really good job of hey, we're going to try this. And he was like, well, cool, let's do it. Or let's not do it. And then explain why. And then we moved on. And Chris, hey, what if we tried this? And he was like, no, that doesn't work. He was like, okay, cool. And no one like was big. I eventually started big shotting everyone. I just had like a team of assistants, just like, guys, look.
Yeah,
Nick fucking Mundy.
He had his own trailer, and literally it was like a trailer, like a truck trailer. And he would just climb up and sit on it. Not just like a trailer that you put a boat on. And he would just sit on it. Like, can I sit on your trailer? He's like, no. And
so at Home Depot for like $14 a day.
Right, exactly. But it's funny because we filmed this outside of Clint's house, the director's house, and we're really doing a stakeout. It's LA, so apparently you can just walk into people's houses.
We had a permit.
Well, we had a permit, and just to walk in people's houses. What kind of a permit is that? But the thing is, when we're filming it, there's like all these issues that you don't think are going to happen because we have 10 hours of night to shoot, and you got to get it done.
Yeah.
But the neighbors come home and they're pull up in their driveway and they're unloading groceries.
Dude had a heart attack.
Dude had a heart attack, so a fire truck pulled up. That disrupts. We're worried about the sprinklers starting at 3 a.m. Like,
can you use any of this shit in the series?
The sprinklers would electrocute everybody.
No, but not. I mean, the
neighbor. We got to get him out of the shot. So then all the techs and all the PAs went over and like this is stuff you don't think about when you're making magic.
Plus, at that time, me and Chris were in our underwear, so we were trying to help.
We did do a whole episode in our underwear. That's true. Yeah. You keep mentioning. Yeah, your underwear was in there a couple times.
Yeah, no, it was fun.
Did you write those parts?
You did that on purpose.
I wrote the most like destroying of my humanity parts.
Right.
Self-deprecation is very big for comedians.
This is more like self-masochism.
No, it's like Chris is like, hey man, we have the best show in the world. It's great, and watch us. And I'm just like, yeah, I suck. I suck real bad. But I watch it because
it was funny though, because when we're doing these takes, and like I said, there is a very loose atmosphere. If you don't get every line right, it doesn't matter. If you improv, it doesn't matter. But he's hilarious because we're sitting in the car and like he would do a line, and if he made a mistake, he would do it again, but then make 2 mistakes, then do it again and make 3 mistakes. It's like, here goes Mundy. I know I'm off for the next 2 hours.
I John Voight myself.
You
to
did
make myself better. Like,
but
from
sometimes
Varsity
the
Blues.
mistakes make it better.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But he would get so like stupid. Okay, Nick, just
like
calm
Crazy
down.
Eyes from Orange is the New Black.
That's right. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you say the lines. It's all improv anyways.
I come from the Varsity Blues School of Acting, where I just yell at myself until I hate myself.
You're like Philip Seymour Hoffman in Boogie Nights.
Yeah, this is very much
Philip Seymour Hoffman in everything.
I've been trying to kiss him all day. It's like, I just want to kiss you. I just want to kiss you.
Well, that's at what point though? That's a good question. At what point do you guys find that chemistry? Because you have the meeting, obviously, and you're still the super fan. But at what point do you?
It was right away.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it was right away because we didn't have a lot of time. We didn't have that luxury of sitting down and hanging out for a week and doing stunt training, getting to each other. We are sitting in a car doing the first scene, which I believe was the racism episode, and that's the first scene, and it's us.
Episode.
It's actually called racism. That's not like that. But the point being is like, we really were kind of getting connected in between shots while we really are sitting in a car doing nothing, waiting to play 2 guys sitting in a car doing nothing.
Right.
And I think the first time we met up, I mean, we talked about the project a little bit, but we mostly talked about Spinal Tap and we started doing shtick. Like you get anyone together, you start doing bits and stuff,
and that's how you have similar pop culture sensibilities. And if you know Spinal Tap, that's a great way to start. That's a good common ground.
That's how every partner should get together.
Well, let me ask you a question. So working with Kristian, and what was it? Because obviously from watching him back in the day, like that he's a great performer. Like when you're acting with him back and forth, like what is it? At what point do you go, oh wow, I didn't know that he did that well, and he really does this? Because you always take that one back and forth.
I actually had high expectations from the get-go. Like, so nothing really surprised me.
Yeah.
Like I was like, Chris is gonna nail this alpha male asshole character, not because that's what he is, but like I know he's gonna do this. But like the thing that like I knew he would do more than any other like actor or whatever is he's gonna be this badass looking handsome dude, but also make a complete asshole of himself. Right. And like I knew that was gonna do it, and that was like. Me, Clint, and Truly, we were all like, no, this guy's perfect for it. Because, like, I wouldn't want anyone else to play this part. Right. Like, Mel Gibson's here, like, no, go away, racist. I got Jericho.
But he would have been great in the racism episode.
That's true. Nice. Perfect.
Chris, you started another great web series that I'm a fan of called But I'm Chris Jericho, where you have no problem making fun of yourself or your persona or what people think of you.
Well, and that was, I had more of a creative input in that. I wrote a lot of those episodes and produced it.
Scott Thompson's in it, Colin
Scott Thompson is great, Colin Mockery, a lot of great guys. Andy Kinley Schindler. But coming into this one, this was their world. So I contributed a few things here and there, but it was the same vibe, like you said. No inhibitions, and that's what comedy is. That's what acting is, as we all know. You have to commit to it and make it happen. But doing it within their world that they created, it was so much fun. Like, it was so easy to get into it and find out all these little quirks about each character, how you could really get it across.
One of my favorite moments is we had a phone call after we read like the second drafts, and it was our second draft, the first ones he read, and he was like, "These aren't shit. These are really good. These are really good."
Kind of funny.
And I was like, "Well, thanks, Dick." And it was
but
like,
you never know, right? Like, you don't know.
Yeah. Totally.
When you get a script, like a comedy script, there's nothing worse than bad comedy.
Yeah.
And there's some comedy.
Man, I just saw a Hot Pursuit.
There you go, right? And you're gonna know
see it tonight.
You're gonna know when you read that this is not funny.
Right.
There's other ones that you read that's like, okay, the delivery could change this, and there's other ones where you read and go, this is actually not too bad. We can work with this. And like I said, I don't know their world. I don't know if they spent one day on this or if they spent 10 years on it. But once I read that, it was great. And the funny thing was, I didn't know which guy was which when I had this meeting, because there's just three guys, and it's like, it's like, hey, and you don't retain anybody's name, and we're even going to do this. So when we went through the actual scripts, my manager was like, well, and Nick is going to be playing your partner. And I'm like, well, which guy is Nick? He's like, well, Nick is one of the guys. And then I saw the first name of the first script is called Moses is Fat. And I'm like, okay, I know who Nick is. Is that politically incorrect to say
it's
that?
fine. No, it's fine because I'm dead inside.
Yeah, it's fine. Well, now, the reason we know each other, Noah, is the fact that you're a big movie fan, just like us too. And so obviously, even from that clip that we saw, you Lethal Weapon, you got Die Hard, you got all
Predator.
this Predator, you got all that stuff in there. So now, did you? Because I know you size people up with their movie knowledge. Were you doing this? Were you doing the same thing? Seeing what he knew and all that.
You know what? I it's not like a contest, though. Like,
but it is. You know, not contest. Don't bullshit me though. You know, you
no,
want
he
to
knew
see
stuff
people.
because all we talked about was Canadian sketch comedy. And
then we went through the entire police academy.
Yeah, we talked about police academy. Yeah, so it was
it's like these are like the perfect yummy high tower. But it was the perfect match for these guys because they come from Texas, I come from Canada, but we meet in the middle of knowing all of this useless knowledge about movies and music.
We were just doing
all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean that's cool too because there is a lot of little references that you make, and I came up with a Van Hagar rant that I did.
That was his favorite part. It was like,
we need to put a Van Hagar thing in there.
That's how we described your character. I was like, okay, so your character is a Van Hagar fan, and they was like, okay, you don't need to explain anything else.
Done. We got to expand upon this.
I know who this guy is.
Right. So the show now, you said 6 episodes?
Yeah,
6 episodes.
Okay, so what's the goal here, Nick? You want to get it? You want to go TV here? Full TV?
Ideally, that's TV. Like, we could do more episodes. Ideally, go TV. I mean, they've had other shows, Idiot Sitter, a couple others on Comedy Central Studios that have become full Comedy Central shows. Yeah, I mean, that's the goal. So, hey, Schmoes knows, you guys are like the best fans in the world. Get us a TV show.
Well, that's the trick, because right now Schmobil's going bananas. Just to have, first of all, having Chris Jericho here, they love the fact
Chris
that he's
and
here.
other guy.
But hearing your dynamic, they're really responding to.
Oh, great.
But this is the thing too, not to interrupt you, but we don't really know, like, how do you take this digital series and what's the next step to getting a pilot or getting it on TV? And we're asking Comedy Central, well, what do we need to do? And every goal they give us, we're crushing it.
Right.
Like the views have gone through the roof, double of the expectations of what they thought. So we want to know, Mr. and Mrs. Comedy Central, how far do we need to go?
Ron and Sheila
Comedy Central, Comedy-Central. So the more views we get, the better it is for everybody. But so far, every indication is that we're going to be doing more.
And that's why we want to come on Schmoes now, because it's like the fans are insane and great and like, look, don't hurt anyone.
Shameless
but like,
pandering.
Shameless pandering.
No, big time.
Shameless pandering.
It's Mundy.
It's like going to Dallas, Chris. Like, how about the Cowboys?
We love the Cowboys.
Yeah. Hey, so I saw this movie called Ultron, Age of Ultron. No.
Well, how about, all right, Schmobil. So Nick Mundy is pandering to you guys at this point. What?
I will give you dollars.
Tell Schmobil where they can find it right now. They want to go and they watch this, and what can they do to help?
You go to ComedyCentral.com or go to YouTube.com/Comedy Central. Watch it, share it,
You
comment
type
on
in
it.
nothing to report.
And
then all the episodes.
How long are the
come up
episodes?
magic.
5 minutes.
5 minutes of comedy genius.
Yeah.
Not
It's
too
a
long.
morsel, exactly.
And
when you're washing your face naked with a cotton dress on, you can put one of these on and watch
outside
it.
my window watching.
So make sure you check out Nothing to Report.
Look,
and
Chris Stuckmann mildly approves of the show.
Look, I watched it, and I honestly loved it. Now, I'm a huge Predator fan. Predator is one of my all-time favorite movies. Lethal Weapon is one of my all-time favorite movies. I watched it earlier today in preparation for you guys coming on. It was fantastic.
Thank you.
There you go. I can't wait to watch it.
It's as good as Time Cop being better than The Matrix, right?
Oh, wait, no, wait, Speaking of this, so if you didn't know already, Mundy and Chris Stuckmann are going to be on Movie Fights this Sunday. Yep. Give us a preview, Mundy. What's going to happen with Stuckmann?
Pain.
Yeah, are you going to take him out?
Yeah.
What's going to happen is that Nick Mundy is going to be so tired from all this press he's doing that he's not actually going to bring it.
I think Chris did a good idea.
Once again,
the prediction, Andy's going to give it to the nice guest on the show.
Yeah, right.
See, once again, the Hollywood whore is now going to Movie Fights next.
Yeah, that's true.
How many shows are you on?
Huh?
How many
Doesn't matter, you're everywhere.
I learned from the Chris Jericho
You're all over the
playbook.
place.
I learned from the Chris Jericho playbook. I'm going to be on Dancing with the Stars.
You know what? Cancel the show. Don't watch Nothing to Report.
He was on Dancing with the Stars. You were on Dancing with the Stars?
I was on Dancing with the Stars.
Cool.
Season something or other.
How many announcements have you had this week?
Huh?
How many tour dates do you have?
But the point is like
the point is,
you know what? Here's the thing. Don't watch the show. It's canceled. You're now seeing the split. It's like Abbott and Costello are done.
Yeah, it's like Bruce Willis and Silver Shepherd all over again. All right, guys, so check out Nothing to Report on Comedy Central. Guys, thank you so much.
Thank
Chris,
you.
thank you for joining us.
Nice to see you again.
Of course. And Nick, we're going to see you soon as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, before we take it out, there's a couple things we have to promote here before we leave. Now, you know that the podcast channel, if you saw those clips, a lot of people were talking about, Katie Sackhoff, when's she coming back? Well, she's definitely going to be back. But if you want to watch old episodes where Katie used to co-host the show, go to youtube.com/schmoesnopodcast. That channel we do the past episodes all the time. I think we have the one where it's me, you, Flick, and Jeremy Johns. That's up there too.
Back in the day.
Yes, and then we have the 200th episode of Schmoes No Movies is coming up in about 5 episodes from now. Maybe 4 now after this one. June 4th. Thank you. You got to come back for that too.
I might.
And I have a question for you.
Okay.
All right, now I'm gonna. Now we do.
We've had a lot for her tonight.
Oh, we do. We have another one. So we do a show. We've done, and I was telling you about that after-hour show where Makuga first talked about the Kelen Coleman situation.
Between the sheets.
No, that was Between the Sheets. And then we do an after-hour show where we only put it. It's where everyone's up here and they spill secrets and everything too, but it's live and it never goes on YouTube. It's only live. We are doing part 2 of that. Would you like to be on that show?
Do people record it though?
No, they can't because you can flag it.
How dirty are these secrets?
No, they get there.
I killed a guy.
They get there. Yeah,
killed a guy.
Well, that's obvious.
So you want to think about it?
I'm thinking about it.
You think about it. All right. So Kelen Coleman's been invited to. You got some dirty stuff. All right, so we'll get her. All right, the intern battle. Remember the intern battle still going on? Nick Mundy killed 7 people while he was sitting on the couch.
He's very desperate to tell us about that, too.
Nick killed a guy.
And then there's, like I said,
Mundy bragging.
Go to tpublic.com/schmoes. Get the Alicia Malone shirt. We're going to have some shirts of the crew so they can win the Star Wars screening. And make sure you subscribe, youtube.com/schmoes. And on this channel, make sure that you like, share, do it all, even if you're watching it on the replay. Check it out. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank our guests again, Nick Mundy, Chris Jericho, Kelen Coleman. Where can the people find you?
On Twitter at Kelen Coleman and Instagram and all those fun things. I don't know. 3 movies coming out. And I also did Family Guy voices and American Dad voices.
Jeez.
Busy.
If my show comes back, The McCarthy's on CBS.
Season 2 of Nothing to Report. So
And then,
And they should be on season 2 of Another Report. And Chris Stuckmann, dude, thank you once again for joining us. Always a pleasure to have you. Where can I find you?
YouTube.com/Chris Stuckmann. 2 N's. German. Yeah.
That's it. All right. And the rest of the crew.
That was the most
I can't tell
German
you're
answer I've
German.
ever
I
heard.
cannot tell you're German.
Check me out on YouTube. Make sure you also go to check out both Mark Riley's channel, Josh McCougas, Ken Knapsack, and the whole crew, JT Movie Thinks, and Horror Flicks. That's it. Schmoes No Movies. Peace out, Mother F's.
For producers Kristian Harloff, Mark Ellis, and the entire Schmoes No crew, we'd like to thank you for listening to the Schmoes No Movie Show. Promotional consideration provided by schmoesno.com and Nothing to Report on Comedy Central website. Special thanks to Kevin Undergaro, Maria Menounos, the author of Every Girl's Guide to Diet and Fitness, in stores now. To watch or listen to other Schmoes episodes, get movie news, and join the conversation, be sure to visit schmoesno.com. The views expressed were the opinions of the host and do not necessarily reflect the views of this network, especially Nick Mundy's murder confession. I'm the Pit Boss, and this has been a presentation of Schmoes No